Welcome inside the sold-out University Stadium, Knight Newbro Field, home of the Laurier Golden Hawks, the 6th-ranked team in the country with a 4-0 record, taking on the McMaster Marauders, who are 1-3 on this season. But this is a team that can be very dangerous. They put up some good offense. They have a stout defense. Now it's just about picking up wins, and what a statement it would be if they could come in and spoil homecoming here in Waterloo against the Laurier Golden Hawks. Jack Moore alongside Jason Hagholm on OUA TV. And Jason, this McMaster team, they've had some close games. They played Windsor really close. They played Western really close. They had a tough loss last week by 8 points against the Guelph Griffins, but now they're 1-3 on the year, and to make the playoffs, they need to go on a run down the stretch of the season.
And that run can start today here at Laurier, spoiling homecoming for the Golden Hawks and knocking the Golden Hawks from the unbeaten ranks. The big thing for me with this McMaster team is they got to convert some from field goals to touchdowns and ball security. Costly turnovers have hurt this team, and obviously Keegan Hall knows that 2 interceptions wasn't good enough to help them try to beat the Guelph Griffins last week. He has to be really secure with the football, because you saw what the Golden Hawks did last week when they had short fields against the Waterloo Warriors.
You talked about the quarterback for the McMaster Marauders. Let's talk about the quarterback for the Laurier Golden Hawks, and we've talked about him quite a bit over the last 2 weeks. He was the U Sports Offensive Player of the Week after his performance against the University of Guelph. Last weekend, he comes in the Battle of Waterloo against the Waterloo Warriors. He has another big explosive week, threw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns at halftime. He's the OUA Offensive Player of the Week. Taylor Elgersma really putting himself in the conversation for top quarterback in the OUA right now.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable, and with good reason we need to talk about one Taylor Elgersma. When you look at him, he's leading the OUA in pass per yards per game, and he's just second in touchdowns by 1 touchdown to Evan Hillick of the Western Mustangs. And 11 touchdowns in 2 games is not bad for an offense that did struggle to find the football into the end zone the first 2 weeks of the season. He's leading by example. He's playing at a high clip. This Golden Hawks team is playing with confidence, and they want to keep that momentum going because they go into the bye week next week, and there's nothing this university would love more than a win on homecoming and to head into the bye at 5-0.
McMaster Marauders will kick this one off from right to left across your screen on OUA TV. Jackson Stebbings and Tyreek Quayson deep to return for the Laurier Golden Hawks. 21 degrees in Waterloo, mostly sunny, little bit of cloud cover, not much. The wind is going 20 kilometers an hour from east to west. That's left to right across your screen, so the Golden Hawks will have the wind in quarter number 1. Michael Horvat is the kicker for this McMaster Marauders team. Stebbings and Quayson deep to return for the Laurier Golden Hawks. And happy homecoming. We're underway from University Stadium. Tyreek Quayson will catch this one at his own 12. Quayson gets a block, cuts to the sideline. Tyreek Quayson forced out of bounds by Sean Underhill at the Laurier 51. A big return for Tyreek Quayson, and the Golden Hawks offense takes over just south of midfield, Jason.
And that's a great start for this Laurier offense. They get a great field position for Taylor Elgersma to go to work, where this Laurier offense in the first quarter last week against the Waterloo Warriors, they could not miss, scored 3 touchdowns on their first 3 possessions.
So it's the OUA Offensive Player of the Week, Taylor Elgersma, under center for the Golden Hawks. In shotgun, Tanner Nelms gets the start at running back. Raiden Thorne makes the catch on 1st and 10, picks up a first down, and Raiden Thorne is down to the McMaster 41 on the first play from scrimmage for the offense for the Golden Hawks.
That's a great catch and run there. Looked like Thorne was going to be gobbled up by some of the secondary players on the McMaster side, but Thorne made a couple nice moves and put on the speed to move the chains and get the first down of the game for Laurier.
Just 3 catches for 38 yards last week for Raiden Thorne. Same stat line for Ethan Jordan, so you have to think that Coach Galloway and this Laurier offense wants to get those star receivers back into the action a little bit more today, and we already start on first down there. Tyreek Quayson with a big gain of 19 yards, and all of a sudden the Golden Hawks already in Dawson Hodge field goal range. Elgersma sends his offense in motion. He'll pass again. Flag flies. And that pass for Raiden Thorne falls incomplete. So we'll await what the flag is that got thrown right on the snap. Referee for today's game is Adam Hinks. at University Stadium. It's going to go against the Golden Hawks, so now decision time for Steph Potasic, who elects to decline it and forces a 2nd and 10 instead of a 1st and 15.
As Jace Atkinson, the right slot back for the Golden Hawks, jumped a little early, and it'll be 2nd and 10 here for the Golden Hawks.
Steph Potasic, of course, a former Golden Hawk player, offensive coordinator for the 2005 Vanier Cup championship team before taking over as the head coach for the McMaster Marauders, left for the Canadian Football League for a while before coming back in 2019. Elgersma throws one up, and that is caught by Ethan Jordan right at the line to gain, and it will be a 1st down on the gain of 10.
I think that's a heads-up play there by Ethan Jordan, as it looked like Elgersma maybe was looking for Jackson Stebbings, who fell down, but Jordan, wise to the situation, makes the adjustment, makes the catch, and moves the chains again for the Golden Hawks.
1st and 10 from the McMaster 31-yard line for the Laurier Golden Hawks offense. 3rd in the conference in passing yards per game with 313.8. Elgersma steps up, and he'll pitch this one off, and that will fall incomplete as he had a defender wrapped up at his ankles. Ryan Leader getting there, but Elgersma, big body at 6'6", 220, able to stay up and throw that one away.
Yeah, he got lucky there. Those are sometimes dangerous scenarios where you're trying to do maybe too much and force the football into a turnover scenario. Elgersma saw there was an open space there with a receiver in the vicinity, so no penalty called, but sometimes you want to see your quarterback maybe just take the sack there, though Elgersma doesn't get dinged.
McMaster getting pressure on the last 2 plays. 2nd and 10 for the Hawks from the MAC 31. Over the middle, Ethan Jordan makes the catch and breaks a tackle down to the 10-yard line. Ethan Jordan with his 2nd catch of the game. That time a gain of 20, and the Golden Hawks have a 1st down in the red zone.
Yeah, it's a 1st and goal coming up here for the Golden Hawks, and Ethan Jordan, he's finding that groove and that chemistry that we saw all last year for those dynamic duo. Jordan, good catch, good run before Ethan Stewart makes the tackle for McMaster.
1st and 10 from the 11-yard line for the Golden Hawks inside the Team Milovic Royal LePage red zone. Elgersma in shotgun. They'll go to the air again. Elgersma to the end zone for Stebbings, and that falls incomplete. Carter Bladd in coverage for the McMaster Marauders.
It was a tight window. Elgersma was looking to fit that ball in. I don't think Stebbings had his feet set or his body set to where the ball was going, and it falls incomplete. But you can see that Elgersma very confident how he's moving the football and looking to take the shot to the end zone.
2nd and 10 for the Hawks. We're just over 2.5 minutes into this 1st quarter. It's Elgersma in shotgun again with Tanner Nelms as the running back. Golden Hawks go to the air on 2nd and 10. It's a screen play to Nelms. Tanner Nelms drives forward. He'll get taken down at the 3-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd and 2 from the 3, and decision time for Michael Folds.
Well, it looks like Michael Folds right now is going to keep that offense on the field and go for it. I think the analytics suggest, they're going to bring that big jumbo package in, some of the big boys on. So Michael Folds will go for it, and they want 6. They don't want to settle for field goals anymore. They know touchdowns are how you win football games.
All 3 fullbacks into the game for the Golden Hawks. Sebastian Parasolitis, Nathan Brooks, and Max Harris. Taylor Elgersma lines up under center. 3rd and 2 for the Golden Hawks from the McMaster 3-yard line. Elgersma hands off to Nelms. Up the middle and gets stuffed. We'll see where the spot is, but it looks like the McMaster defense gets a stop, and that's Eric Bajolski in the middle of that McMaster defense making the tackle.
Yeah, Bajolski, there was some good pressure up front by the McMaster defensive line and really let Tanner Nelms run into his own man. Looked like he ran into Josh Reitveld, and good stop here, big play for the McMaster defense as Laurier will turn the football over on downs, but McMaster pinned in their own end zone to start their 1st drive of the game.
So here comes Keegan Hall. He's thrown for 1,100 yards on the season so far, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions for the 3rd-year quarterback from Burlington, Ontario. Hall hands this one off up the middle. Jacob Mason, the fullback, getting the carry, still churning his feet. as the gain will be for 2, maybe 3 yards, and a 2nd and long coming up for the Marauders.
Yeah, Kelly, they're just trying to give McMaster a little bit of space to work with here for Keegan Hall, but once again, just a pickup of 3 yards and a 2nd 7 coming up for McMaster on their own 6-yard line.
So McMaster goes to the ground. They average 77 rushing yards per game, which is 9th in the 11-team OUA conference. Play action from Keegan Hall. Passes underneath and over the top is Jacob Patton on the catch. He's a yard short of the line to gain on the gain of 6. So 3rd and 1 for McMaster.
Well, you saw the athleticism there from Jacob Patton, showing off the vertical leap, though. Got a piece of him, did the Laurier defender. So it's 3rd and 1 coming up here for McMaster.
So McMaster will bring in some heavy unit. And Steven Naranchik in at quarterback for the Marauders on this 3rd and short. He goes to his right and dives forward to pick up the 1st down for McMaster, who keeps their offense on the field.
And that's key as well, because McMaster also knows time of possession is a big factor in how you can stop this Laurier offense. You keep the football, you keep moving the move the chains, you keep that Laurier offense on the sideline, and that's a big factor in why Waterloo had a good 3rd quarter last week.
Through 2 games of the season, the Golden Hawks' time of possession against Carleton and Queens averaged 35 minutes a game. Their offense a little bit more explosive weeks 3 and 4, so that time of possession has gone down. McMaster midway through the season, their time of possession 2nd best in the OUA. And now here's a chance for Matthew Gale as he gets taken down at his own 40. Gain of 25, and a big play there from the McMaster Marauders offense. Matthew Gale on the catch and run.
Beautiful catch and run there from Gale. Made a nice little juke move and gave him some open space to get the Marauders offense going as they're starting to move the football here on this Laurier defense.
2nd best passing yards per game in the OUA as well for McMaster. 335.5 passing yards per game through 4 games so far this season. Keegan Hall on 1st and 10. Spins away from the pressure to his left. Hall setting his feet and throwing this one away.
That was a wise decision there from Keegan Hall. He felt the pressure coming on from Brandon Omanua and Chisenham and Sedum. Had no one really downfield, so just throw it away, live to play another down, because we talked about off the top, turnovers, interceptions, what killed McMaster last week against Guelph.
Keegan Hall, 4 interceptions, 2nd most in the OUA this year, tied with Danny Skelton, the starting quarterback for the Windsor Lancers, who will take on the Queens Gales at 4 p.m. today. Owen Webb of the York Lions has 5, which paces the OUA in interceptions this season. Play action to Mason. Bryden Kelly makes the catch in the flat and gets taken down by Malik Cote-Azor on the gain of 4 yards, 3rd and 6. And McMaster will have to punt this one away.
Yeah, Kelly, they tried to catch Laurier off guard, did McMaster with a screen play. Kelly tried to make a nice little juke move and drive his shoulder into Malik Cote-Azor, but good individual solo tackle there by Cote-Azor, and it'll be a 3rd and 6 McMaster punt.
Michael Horvat, who leads the OUA in average punts, average punt yards, 47 yards per punt so far this season. To boot this one away into the wind, and a low punt will bounce at the Laurier 31 and sit there as Quayson picks it up and gets an extra 5 yards on the no yards penalty against the McMaster Marauders, so the Golden Hawks will start from their own 38-yard line.
You can see the effect of the swirling wind here coming towards from the east to where McMaster is. That ball kind of just took a bounce and took a Laurier bouncing as well. They get the benefit, as you said, Jack, of the no yards.
So Elgersma and the Laurier offense will take over on their own 38-yard line, 1st and 10. Unable to convert on 3rd down from the McMaster 3 on their last drive. First 3rd down of the season Laurier hasn't converted on, only their 4th attempt on 3rd down this year. Play action to Nelms. Raiden Thorne makes the catch. He'll move upfield for a gain of 6 yards. 2nd and 4 coming up for the Hawks.
That's a beautiful play action. It definitely faked out the front four of the McMaster defense and getting it to Thorne, getting to showcase his speed. We've seen him have a couple catch and runs here on the third catch of the afternoon for Thorne.
Algersma is second and manageable here. Ryan Spate, the tight end, to his right. Tanner Nelms in the backfield. Raiden Thorne in the slot to Algersma's right. Play action to Nelms over the middle, and that falls incomplete for Jace Atkinson, but a flag flies, and we'll await the call from the referees.
And that flag came late after the incompletion, but it looks like it's against the Golden Hawks.
So Steph Potasic elects to decline the second Golden Hawk penalty of the game. So the Golden Hawks will have to punt this one away. Dawson Hodge comes onto the field, averaging 42.5 yards a punt so far this year. Last week, averaged 35 yards a punt, but every single punt was with the wind in his face. His first punt here today is with the wind at his back, and he can boom them. Dawson Hodge. Spiraling punt that will bounce at the McMaster 30. The Marauders will get a return up the near sideline. Staying up and on his feet. Everett Reed on a big return from McMaster.
That was a great return there by Everett Reed. Looked like he had no real estate to work with how close he was to the sidelines, but followed his blockers, found that little hole, and picked up some nice yardage and gets it close to almost the 50-yard line. Ball's going to be spotted at the McMaster 49, but as Deion Sanders says, there's always a chance for a touchdown. I just got to find it, and Reed nearly found it there.
Thought it was a good placement by Dawson Hodge right against the sideline, but Everett Reed found the crease, and Keegan Hall back out onto the field for McMaster. Kelly gets the handoff, steps away from the Laurier defense and picks up a first down. Duncan Noddy finally took him down after the gain of 13.
Just that little stutter step there from Braden Kelly froze two Laurier defenders, and then Kelly was able to go right up the gut following his blockers and move the sticks for McMaster. A big first down for Kelly, who's having a nice little start for McMaster on the ground.
Gain of 11 is the official designation. Also has a catch for 4 yards on the first drive of the game. 6 minutes to go here in quarter number one. We're tied at 0. Laurier and McMaster. Gale gets popped. Check that. That's Everett Reed getting popped by Chris Haggart.
Well, Reed had a good punt return, and then he got popped that time by Chris Haggart. That ball just popped out of his hands and falls incomplete. And now Laurier trying to impose their will a little bit here on the McMaster offense.
Laurier defensive backfield has a couple guys who can hit with the best of them. Chris Haggart, Nico McCarthy, Jahari Hastings. And that's not even to mention two of the top tacklers in the OUA who line up at linebacker for the Hawks. Keegan Hall, 2nd and 10, rolls to his left. Being chased by Omanua. Hall spins away and throws this one incomplete.
Yeah, Hall was just dancing there, trying to find an opening, spinning away from Chisenham and Sedum, but found no one and just throws it away. And now, after the nice opening run there from Braden Kelly, McMaster will punt again.
This would be a 56-yard field goal attempt into the wind, so McMaster is going to punt this one away. So Michael Horvat on for his second punt of the game. First one went for 33 yards, and this one goes out of bounds. So we'll see where they spot the ball, but the Golden Hawks offense come back onto the field after being unable to convert as they went 2 and out on the last series, Jason.
Yeah, and it feels like forever since we've seen that Laurier offense go 2 and out for the success they had on the road against Guelph and what they did last week against against Waterloo. But that's something, obviously, one series, but on that opening series, Laurier moved the football with authority. We'll see what the Golden Hawks can do the second time as McMaster. They've brought a lot of pressure into the face of Taylor Elgersma in the first 2 series.
Just one rushing attempt in this game for the Laurier offense. They go back to the air, but Elgersma will take off himself, and he'll drive forward for a first down. Gain of 11 for the Golden Hawk quarterback.
And Elgersma puts his shoulder right in there to Anthony Stanovic and falls forward to move the sticks for a first down. And we don't see Elgersma do that much, but that is an element to his game when he can take off and scramble and move the sticks himself.
13th carry of this season for Taylor Elgersma. He now has 68 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Handoff up the middle. Nelms going nowhere, gets back to the line of scrimmage. McMaster defense getting home that time. Mitch Price at 6'1", 280, anchoring the middle of that Marauders defensive line.
Yeah, Mitch Price gets in there first and just swallows up the running back here, Tanner Nelms, and nowhere for Nelms to go, just picks up 1 yard.
2nd and 10 for the Golden Hawks from their own 40. Elgersma in shotgun, looks to his right. Elgersma gets it away. Ethan Jordan makes the catch, gain of 5. And the Golden Hawks will have to punt this one away.
Yeah, once again, the Marauders bringing blitz and getting some guys home on to Taylor Elgersma. And once again, another 2 and out here for the Laurier Golden Hawks. So that pressure so far has been able to work for McMaster, and Laurier can't sustain it in the early goings of this first quarter.
3.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. It's still 0-0. At University Stadium. Spiraling punt from Dawson Hodge will bounce, and Sean Underhill will return it from his own 13-yard line. He gets met by a swarm of Golden Hawk covermen at his own 23, and Keegan Hall is back onto the field for the McMaster Marauders. 3 of 6 for 37 yards in this game.
Yeah, you can tell Hall also wants that deep ball, but the good coverage by the Laurier secondary and as well, Laurier bringing the pressure with their big guys up front on Keegan Hall has made him have to scramble and have to throw footballs away when that have killed some drives here for McMaster.
Keegan Hall, who leads the OUA in attempts and completions coming into this game. 3rd in yards per game, only behind Evan Hillock and Taylor Elgersma, who paces the conference. 1st and 10 for McMaster from their own 23. Keegan Hall pump fakes and steps up. He'll pitch it over the middle. Intercepted! The Golden Hawks defense forces a turnover. Ife Onyemana making the play for the Golden Hawks. Malik Kote-Azor getting his palm on the ball.
Well, that was a good idea there from Hall, the shuffle pass, and Hall couldn't handle it. That ball popped up like a pop fly, and the Golden Hawks, their defense, when they force turnovers, they give the offense short field. Best chance for Laurier to put points on the board since their opening drive.
Jacob Patton was the intended receiver there for the Marauders. Elgersma drops back to pass, gets this one off quickly to Ethan Jordan. That'll be a gain of 4 for the Hawks. 2nd and 6 coming up, and Elgersma thought that McMaster's defensive line jumped early. No flags flew on the play.
Yeah, that was a weird snap. I think Elgersma had a case, but how delayed that snap was in getting the play off. No flags, though, and I think Elgersma's got to have that amnesia, forget about it, move on to the next play with a 2nd and 8. So gain of 2 on that last reception.
Michael Folds did a quick walk down to the line judge. I think a friendly word was said there.
Yeah.
2nd and 7 here for the Golden Hawks. Is Taylor Elgersma in the pocket. Fires this one off. Parasolides can't make the catch, and it's intercepted. Johan Shimbalunga gets it right back for the Marauders, and they take over at their own 23.
And much like how Laurier forced the interception, Parasolides had that just bounced off his hands, and Shimbalunga there makes the interception and gets a turnover right back for McMaster. And Laurier kind of has reverted a little bit back to what we saw in weeks 1 and 2, but still a lot of time for them to make adjustments.
Just the 2nd interception thrown on the season by Taylor Elgersma. The first one was week number 1 against the Queens Gales in Kingston.
Those are ones you just hate to put on the quarterback as an interception, too.
Keegan Hall, 1st and 10, hands this one off to Kelly, and he gets taken down immediately. Omari Hastings that time gets the stop just past the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 9 for the Marauders.
It's a great tackle there from Hastings to come off his blocker and one hand wrap up Hall to only let him gain 1 yard.
Minute 15 to go here in quarter number 1 as the Marauders have the ball on their own 25, 2nd and 9. Keegan Hall, 3 of 7 for 37 yards in this game and an interception. In shotgun, looks to his right, gets pressure, gets it away, and that falls incomplete. And McMaster will have to punt this one away.
So 2 and out again for McMaster as they were looking to go down the field looking for Jacob Patton again, but that ball just way short and into a sea of purple and gold. So Hall really lucky there. That one falls incomplete and it's not another interception.
So Michael Horvat to punt this one away again. Averaging 27.5 yards per punt on his first 2 into the wind. Gets this one off and it'll bounce at the Golden Hawk 51. Ball pops free. The Golden Hawks will jump on it at the 53. They'll get an extra 5 yards. So the Golden Hawks once again with good field positioning here, Jason, but they have to put the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they've had some struggles here against this McMaster defense. Other than that opening drive where they were able to at will move the football and until they got stopped on that 3rd and 1 at the McMaster 1 yard line, and since then it's been a little bit of a struggle here for Laurier to move the football. Couple 2 and outs, interception on the last drive. I think Algersma knows that's tough for him to be on him, but he's going to trust Parasolitis and keep moving the football.
Well, and if you're Taylor Algersma, you're not really changing anything.
No.
Because made the right read,
Yep.
ball was in the receiver's hands. It just bounced into the MAC defender. Quentin Scott takes the handoff and drives forward. Gain of 4 yards. 2nd and 6 coming up for the Golden Hawks. Quentin Scott getting his hands on the football for the first time today.
And that's a guy that really needs to get his carries here. He's someone that really opens up the passing game with his versatility. As well, him coming out of the backfield on some screen catches. He just adds so much dynamic to this Laurier offense. And surprise, it's been this late since that's his first touch of the game.
Tanner Nelms getting the official start at running back, playing the majority of this first quarter. This will be the final play of quarter number 1, barring a defensive penalty. Algersma in the pocket, over the middle, incomplete. Laomi Ojatalayo can't make the catch. And that brings to an end quarter number 1. The Golden Hawks and the Marauders tied at 0. Laurier trying to move to 5-0. McMaster trying to pick up win number 2 on the season. We have quarter number 2 coming up for you next. You're watching Laurier Golden Hawk football on OUA TV. Welcome back inside the sold-out University Stadium, Knight Newbro Field. Jack Moore, Jason Hagholm along with you on OUA TV. Laurier and McMaster tied at 0 through the opening quarter of play here in Uptown Waterloo. 3rd and 6 for the Hawks, so Dawson Hodge will have to punt into the wind for the first time today. Hodge gets a low spiraling punt down, and it will bounce out at the McMaster 20-yard line is where they spot it. So 3rd punt of the game for Dawson Hodge. That'll bring down the average. He was averaging 49.5 yards a punt before that one. So Keegan Hall back onto the field for the McMaster Marauders, Jason. As much as we talked about the Golden Hawks having to take advantage of their opportunities, McMaster's offense really been held to nothing here by this Laurier defense through 1 quarter of play.
Yeah, when you look at Keegan Hall, 3 completions on 8 attempts and the interception for just 37 yards, and the majority of that was on a 27-yard completion. So Keegan Hall knows he's got to get this offense going.
Third-year quarterback from Burlington, underneath to Jackson Cooling getting his first touch of the game. And that's a gain of 10 yards, and it'll be close to a first down for the McMaster Marauders.
Nice little jet sweep there from McMaster off to Cooling. Let him use his speed, follow the blockers, and moves the chains for McMaster. As they've shown the ability to move the sticks, it's just drives have stalled out, and that defensive pressure from Laurier's won out more times than not.
Second in the OUA in receptions, third in yards per game. Jackson Cooling held to just 1 touchdown so far on the season, but he is that explosive piece on this offense. Keegan Hall rolls to his right and gets a block. Hall looking down the field, getting chased down by Brubaker and throws this one away. Second and 10 coming up for the Marauders as Luke Brubaker was chasing down Keegan Hall, who couldn't get rid of the ball soon enough.
Yeah, Hall had rolled out there to his left side of the field and was just staring down someone, but no one was open downfield. Good coverage again by the Laurier secondary, and Hall has to throw it away.
So another second and long here for the McMaster Marauders in this football game. Keegan Hall 4 of 10 for 47 yards and an interception in this one so far. They'll line up to scrimmage from their own 30-yard line. 4 receivers to Keegan's right. Hall looks to his right, steps up over the middle. Keegan Hall gets taken down. Matt Caruso with the sack. And the Marauders will have to punt this one away.
Well, it's a good job there by Keegan Hall at the first part of that. Felt the blitz coming off the edge, stepped up into the pocket, but once again, no one downfield for Hall to throw the football to. He's holding onto the football a little too much, and then Caruso lays an absolute big hit, big sack on him, and it's a loss of 2 for McMaster. They will punt.
Matt Caruso gets his second sack of the season. Tyreek Quason deep to return with Jackson Stebbings. Michael Horvat to punt this one away. No yards on both McMaster punts in quarter number 1, but this is a bomb from Michael Horvat that bounces at the Laurier 15. Quason picks it up inside his 5, and he dropped it. Tyreek Quason will be taken down immediately by the McMaster cover team. What a way to flip the field. Michael Horvat with a bomb of a punt from his own 30, and Laurier will start from their own 6.
Well, that'll definitely improve the average here for Michael Horvat, and just couldn't really play that. Tried to play it on the hop was Quason, and couldn't really have that work out for him. Rolled out of his hands, and Laurier will start their second drive of the second quarter at their own 6-yard line.
That's a net gain of 74 yards for the McMaster Marauders on that play. Taylor Elgersma lines up in shotgun, 1st and 10 from his own 6. Laurier resets. Tanner Nelms up the middle. Nowhere to go, but he still drives forward. They'll give him 5 on the play, maybe 4. So second and medium here for the Golden Hawks.
Yeah, it was just good work there from Nelms. Keep churning the legs, trying to pick up as many yards as he could. Gain of 6, they will say. So 2nd and 4 coming up here for Laurier. 2nd and 5, they now adjust that.
Elgersma in shotgun, 2nd and medium here for the Golden Hawks. Nelms is the running back. Rayton Thorne and Ethan Jordan to his left, and that's where Elgersma looks. Rayton Thorne makes the catch, and that's going to be a first down for the Golden Hawks.
Great job there by Thorne to toe the line. Knew where he had to get his feet set to move the sticks for the Golden Hawks, and it's exactly what he does. First down here for Laurier, and a first down that this offense really does need to get.
1st and 10 from their own 19. 3 receivers to the right of Elgersma. Nelms in the backfield. Handoff is to Nelms, and he has space this time before he gets met after the gain of 5. Sestanovic making the tackle. Second and medium again for the Hawks.
That was a good tackle there by Sestanovic as Nelms just bounced off one lead blocker, but right into the arms there of Sestanovic for another 2nd and 5 coming up here for Laurier.
Sold out University Stadium on this 2023 Laurier homecoming. Elgersma in shotgun. Hand off to Nelms up the middle, nowhere to go. Gain of 2, 3rd and 3, and the Hawks will have to punt this one away.
I was a little surprised on the run call there. I know they're trying to maybe start getting the juices flowing here for Tanner Nelms, but we saw in the last 2nd and 5, they went on the pass to Raiden Thorne. Thought maybe they'd go back there as Elgersma is having himself a nice start here, but unfortunately it's the run play of just gain of 2 there for Nelms.
Owen Hubert making the tackle as Hodge gets this punt away to the McMaster 40. Great coverage there by Matthew Brandon. And the Golden Hawks will hold McMaster to start from their own 46. And the Marauders will start this one from just inside their own territory.
Yeah, it was a great tackle there by Matthew Brandon. Really let Reed have nowhere to go as McMaster will start this drive out from their own 46 after a last drive that once again stalled out for McMaster and Keegan Hall.
47 yards in the air, 17 on the ground for the Marauders so far in this one. Empty set here for Keegan Hall. Luke Brubaker with pressure can't get home, and Hall throws this one into the dirt, incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Marauders.
Yeah, Brubaker, he's a man possessed right now. He's really finding his groove, beating his man off the blocks, and maybe got a little held up there. No penalty was called, but once again, Hall's feeling the pressure. He's hearing those footsteps, and he just has to throw the football away.
4 sacks on the season for Luke Brubaker. 1 in each game so far this year. He's tied for 3rd in the OUA with Tyson Hergott from UW. Toss to Kelly. Cuts it back inside and gets met by Onyemanum. That gain of 1 will bring up 3rd and 9.
And once again, McMaster will punt as they try on the toss there with Kelly to maybe catch the Golden Hawks a little off guard, get Kelly to use his speed, follow the blockers. But Laurier, they were not fooled by that at all. 1 yard on that drive, and another punt coming up this time for Michael Horvat, and we'll see if he can flip the field as well as he did on his last punt.
So the gain on the last one was 74 by McMaster. The punt was 78. He's got the wind at his back again. It's a high spiraling punt off that forces Quayson out of bounds. So Laurier will start close to their own 20-yard line here. And again, this has been a defensive battle through the first 20 minutes and 45 seconds of this contest, Jason.
Yeah, right now McMaster's getting Laurier to kind of play their game with those quick 2-and-outs, quick drives that Laurier has where they got to punt the football back to McMaster. But you know, that's what you kind of want if you're McMaster. You want to find a way to slow down this Laurier offense, and to their credit, that's exactly what they've done. That's why they've been able to be in these competitive games that they have had so far.
1st and 10 for the Hawks. They'll start from their own 10-yard line. Play action to Quinton Scott. Elgersma over the top, and Spate gets bumped early. Pass interference against the McMaster Marauders coming up. Nana Yasserbe on the coverage.
Yeah, that one was pretty obvious to see. Good play action again there for Elgersma. He was looking for Spate and just getting a little too aggressive there was Nana Yasserbe. Bumps right into Spate. Doesn't really let him give a chance to make the catch. Easy pass interference call.
So this ball will go up to the 25 on the 15-yard penalty. 1st and 10 for the Golden Hawks from their own 25 as Ryan Spate draws the pass interference call. Had 2 receptions for 21 yards and a touchdown last week against the Waterloo Warriors. Lines up at tight end primarily for this Hawks offense. But when Elgersma wasn't going to Raiden Thorne and Ethan Jordan, he was a target he liked. Elgersma on 1st and 10, goes to Raiden Thorne, makes the catch. He'll gain 5, and it'll be 2nd and 5 here for the Golden Hawks.
And once again, going to Raiden Thorne, trying to get those veteran receivers in the groove of this game. Thorne has been the primary target here for the Laurier Golden Hawks. When you look at what Thorne's been able to do this afternoon, he's been the go-to guy for Laurier. When you look with his receptions here, Thorne, so far, he's made 4 catches for 37 yards.
2nd and 5 here for the Hawks from their own 30. Elgersma. Swing pass out to Quentin Scott in space. Cuts it up the middle. Picks up the 1st down on the gain of 6.
And that's what I think Laurier should do a little bit more. Get Scott out of the backfield, use that speed and use that mass that he has to move the sticks. And you can see just how quick he can be once he gets that reception and move the ball upfield. Good 1st down here for the Golden Hawks.
Golden Hawks' 2nd longest drive of the game so far. This one 26 yards. Their longest drive was 57. That got down to the McMaster 3 on their 1st drive of the game, but haven't been able to do much since. Quentin Scott up the middle on the draw. Driving his legs forward, he'll gain 3, 2nd and 7.
Yeah, good delayed draw there from the Golden Hawks. They try to get Scott to explode up the gut, but a host of Marauders just wrap up Scott and drive him backwards. Gain of 3 for Laurier.
So 2nd and long here for the Golden Hawks, 2nd and 7 with 7:05 to go in quarter number 2. 0-0 here, the sold-out University Stadium at 2023 Laurier Homecoming. Elgersma steps up in the pocket, and Owen Hubert takes him down. 3rd and long, and the Golden Hawks will have to punt this one away.
Yeah, good pressure there off the edge from Hubert, wrapped up Elgersma. Elgersma brought the football in, didn't want to risk the turnover, but once again, another drive for Laurier stalls out by some good work by this McMaster defense with the pressure that they've brought in the face of Elgersma.
Dawson Hodge to punt this one away. 5th punt of the game for Hodge, averaging 42.3 yards a punt. Nice spiraling punt here from Hodge as Sean Underhill gets it at his own 38. Breaks a tackle and gets up across the 50. So another good starting field positioning here in quarter number 2 for the McMaster Marauders. You can really see that wind taking effect in terms of where teams will start with the football, Jason.
Yeah, you can really tell how important it's going to be for both Laurier and McMaster to have that side of the field to really try to make the most of it. But another good field position, as we just said here from McMaster, but they got to do something with it. Couple 2-and-outs in the 2nd quarter. They got to find a way to have a sustained drive and their offensive line pick up some protection here against this Laurier defense.
September 23rd to October 1st marks the first of 2 OUA Anti-Racism Awareness Weeks during the 2023-2024 season. This year's theme speaks to the powerful meaning that the words "I belong" possess for student athletes, coaches, support staff, and administrators within underrepresented groups. Follow along with the OUA's social media channels at OUA Sport all week long for more about Anti-Racism Awareness Week and the importance of belonging. Check on some out-of-town scores as Sean Underhill down on the McMaster sideline after the return. Out-of-town scores brought to you by the Crown Plaza Kitchener-Waterloo. Ottawa holding a 10-7 lead against the Western Mustangs right now in London. And the Guelph Griffins, their homecoming game, 35-0 after the 1st quarter against the York Lions. We'll get you a quick update on the Toronto Varsity Blues score against the Carleton Ravens. And, of course, the Queens Gales and Windsor Lancers don't start until 4 p.m. Carleton leading Toronto 7-0, so some interesting scores stacking up here in week number 5 in the OUA. The Waterloo Warriors have their bye this week.
Yeah, they do, and Waterloo kind of maybe watching to see what Guelph and Toronto do. Those are big games that I think Waterloo thinks they can win when those games come for the Warriors.
1st and 10 from their own 52 for Keegan Hall and McMaster. He takes a shot down the field, incomplete. Nice play by Malik Cote-Azor. In coverage for the Hawks on Jacob Patton.
That's just perfect coverage there by Cote Azor, following his man in Patton, moving the step for step with him and timed the jump to bat that football away to perfection.
Jackson Cooling, the intended receiver, but Malik Cote Azor playing that one perfectly. 2nd and 10 here for McMaster. First time we've seen Keegan Hall try and take a shot down the field. 2nd and 10. High snap, corralled by Hall. Drops back, looks over the middle. He's being chased down by Odiasi, and Haggart gets this one away, and it's incomplete. And Jacob Patton is down on the field for the Marauders, down at his own 50-yard line. So a play that started not great for McMaster ends worse. It's Jacob Patton down on the field, the 3rd year from Hamilton.
Yeah, and Patton's been a big part of this offense so far through spreading the ball around, just the 1 catch for 6 yards, but you know that's someone they want to go to, and just a off the ball kind of injury from one of those quick cuts, and hope it's nothing too serious, but he is getting looked at here by the McMaster training staff.
5.5 minutes to go in the first half here. We have a 0-0 game between the Hawks and the Marauders. Jacob Patton, 25 receptions for 292 yards and 3 touchdowns on the year. 3rd in the OUA in receptions, 7th in yards per game. Great 1-2 punch with Jackson Cooling. So he's being looked at by the McMaster trainers on his own 49. And really, when we talk about offenses struggling in this game, it's the defenses of both these teams that have played so well as Patton gets back up to his feet.
Yeah, he's getting some help off the field, and hopefully in the long run it's nothing too serious. But we saw kind of the same thing happen last week, Jack, here in the Battle of Waterloo with Ayo Ajay kind of just falling down on a play that he was just watching, trying to off the ball, and unfortunate for Ajay. And once again here, unfortunate for Patton as he's getting helped off the field, and that's a big blow for this McMaster offense. I
was told about Ayo Ajay that he is week to week, so he was out this week against McMaster. The Golden Hawks have to bye next week, so they're hoping to reevaluate him before they head to Ottawa to take on the GGs, who, like we mentioned earlier, have a lead on the Western Mustangs right now. And Golden Hawks have to get out of this one where they're tied 0-0 with McMaster, but they have a bye and then 3 big weeks against Ottawa, Windsor, and Western to close out the season. 2 non-combatants on the schedule this year for Laurier, Toronto, and York. High spiraling punt from Michael Horvat. Quayson has to retreat inside his own end zone. Quayson steps up and gets taken down just shy of his own 15.
Well, the best weapon right now offensively for McMaster has been the punter in Michael Horvat. He has flipped the field to perfection with 3 straight booming punts. Credit to Quayson for fielding that one and having the ability to bring that out of the end zone, because you just feel, Jack, this is going to be a real tight game. You can't afford to give up points.
Because he caught it in the end zone and brought it out. He'll come up to the 20-yard line for the Golden Hawks. So 1st and 10 from their own 20 for Taylor Elgersma. Tanner Nelms back in the backfield for the Hawks. Play action to Nelms. Ethan Jordan on the screen pass. Ethan Jordan steps out of bounds after a gain of 11 yards, give him 12, and a first down for the Hawks.
That play action was so good, faked me out as Ethan Jordan makes the catch and moves the sticks for 12 yards as Laurier gets Jordan his 5th catch of the afternoon, and they want to get that dynamic duo of Thorne and Jordan going as they're big playmakers and game breakers for the Golden Hawks.
Ethan Jordan tying his yards receiving from last week as Rayton Thorne makes the catch and spins away from defenders. Rayton Thorne down the sideline, and he gets taken down just shy of midfield. Explosive play for the Golden Hawk offense.
Just a great heads-up play there by Thorne, spinning away. Looked like he was going to maybe pick up 1 or 2, but showed that athleticism, reverts upfield, and has a huge completion and gain for the Laurier Golden Hawks. They'll give Thorne 22 yards on that completion.
Ethan Stewart down on the McMaster sideline on the Laurier 51. Laurier will have 1st and 10 from their own 54 after the big play by Raiden Thorne. 22-yard gain for the Hawks offense. Give him his 5th catch of the game. Now up to 59 yards. Both Thorne and Jordan, 3 catches, 38 yards last week. Thorne, 5 catches for 59 this week. Jordan, 5 catches for 38 yards this week. So clearly, Coach Galloway and Taylor Elgersma made it a point to get those guys more involved in the offense than they were last week against the Waterloo Warriors.
I think it's smart as well. You want your big-time players to make big-time plays in a big-time homecoming game. Don't want to fall into the potential trap of this game against McMaster.
3rd Marauders player to get injured in the last few minutes here. Elgersma steps up, and he'll take a shot for Ethan Jordan. Makes the catch. Touchdown, Laurier! 56 yards, Elgersma to Jordan, and the Golden Hawks strike first with 4:17 to go in the first half.
Well, you just knew it was a matter of time before the Golden Hawks would take their shot downfield, and Elgersma finds his favorite target in Ethan Jordan. He catches the bomb and as well battles off the tackle to dive into the end zone to pick up the valuable 6 points. Huge touchdown. That's the 12th touchdown of the season for Elgersma.
Dawson Hodge on to attempt the extra point. Jackson Stebbings the holder, Jason McGugan the long snapper, and it's good. So Hodge is 17 of 17 on extra points this season. And the Laurier Golden Hawks have a 7-0 lead with just over 4 minutes to go here in the first half. And an offense that had been a little stale, taken everything underneath, and then they take their shot down the field and they didn't miss with Ethan Jordan on the 56-yard completion. Taylor Elgersma now 13 of 19 for 167 yards. Ethan Jordan's 6th catch of the game. He has 94 yards through the air for the Hawks.
And they get that 56-yard touchdown. Finally, they take the shot with a big bomb. That football last week in the Battle of Waterloo, Jack, it was slinging around. You almost needed air traffic control to give it some clearance. But it's been a tight game. Momentum swung a little bit after Laurier couldn't convert on that 3rd down at the MAC 3-yard line. But nonetheless, they take their shot and they connect, and that's what they had to do. You knew Michael Faldswood and Todd Galloway, they'd take their chance. Elgersma to Jordan, it's been a deadly duo since they've connected here in the OUA, and they make the Marauders pay.
So Hodge will boot this one away from his own 45.
As we've got the strongest gust of wind we've had all afternoon.
Braden Kelly and Isaiah Shields deep to return for McMaster. And Shields drops it at his own 6, but regains possession before being taken down just past the 20. So Keegan Hall will come back onto the field as another Marauder down, and this time it's the starting running back, Braden Kelly.
And that is not a good sign here for McMaster. Obviously, we just saw Jacob Patton get taken off the field on the previous series, and now your starting running back, Braden Kelly, who's done some nice work for McMaster here this afternoon.
So another injury for the Marauders. Underhill went down earlier. Stewart went down. Of course, Jacob Patton going down. So McMaster getting bit by the injury bug here. Noah Amaral, Caleb Daher, Jacob Mason, who we've seen get a carry in this game so far, and Nathan Denkers are the other running backs and fullbacks listed for the McMaster Marauders in this game. We'll have 1st and 10 from their own 22.
And it's just about someone stepping up right now in the kind of run by committee right now, with depending on the severity of the injury here to Kelly, and we hope it's nothing too serious, but you need your playmakers out there, and especially in a tight game like this, someone that can find a way to slip through the Laurier defense that we've seen Kelly do. Kelly, what he's done so far today, 3 carries for 12 yards, but he's also been able to come out of the backfield for a catch for 4. Shows some good versatility. So already when you lose one of your key receivers, you're losing someone like Kelly. That's just not what you want to see for McMaster.
So what we can tell you about the other injuries, Sean Underhill has just taken off his shoulder pads and is putting on his jersey without the shoulder pads, so that makes you believe his afternoon is done. Jacob Patton is down on the trainer's table. He has ice around his right quad. Typically, the ice means the afternoon is over. Ethan Stewart still sitting with his shoulder pads on the McMaster bench as Braden Kelly gets carried off the field by a few of his teammates. Connor Andritzakos, Steven Naranchik helping the second-year running back from Hamilton off the field as he limps his way to the bench, and Keegan Hall will have 1st and 10 from his own 22. Hall hands this one off to Noah Amaral. And that will be a gain of 3, 2nd and 7 coming up for the Marauders.
Yeah, Amaral just trying to plunge his way forward, get what he can, as now he's going to be the guy in the backfield for McMaster for the time being, depending on the status here of Kelly. Just picks up 2.
So McMaster with another 2nd and long. Big gusts of wind here late in quarter number 2. Keegan Hall drops back, looks to his left, fires over the middle, and that falls incomplete for Jackson Cooling to the far sideline. And that brings up 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and Mac will have to punt this ball away again.
And we've seen when Keegan Hall's trying to stretch the field with those deep balls, they kind of just die a little bit flat before hitting the receiver, so maybe it's just a miscommunication there or something going on, but a lot of those balls dying, pressure in the face, him scrambling out, having to throw them away. You know Hall wants to have some of these balls back.
7th punt of the afternoon for Michael Horvat. All of his last 3 have been over 50 yards, make this 4 in a row over 50 as Jackson Stebbings gets it back at his own 23, and he'll take it to the far side of the field. Stebbings, as a flag flies, gets taken down at the 30. And this one will come back against the Hawks, so they'll start deep in their own territory as Michael Horvat has another massive punt for the Marauders.
Horvat's done a good job flipping the field and making it an effort for the Golden Hawks to move the football. Now, last time he flipped the field, didn't work out as if that 56-yard touchdown and a good sustained drive for the Golden Hawks, but that punt was booming. And a 20 holding penalty there against Malik Cote-Azor pushes the Golden Hawks even further back.
Three-minute warning of half number 1. 2:56 to go. 7-0 Laurier lead. Last time they had the ball, it was a 56-yard touchdown throw from Taylor Elgersma to Ethan Jordan. Quentin Scott back in the game for the Golden Hawks. 3 receivers to the left of Taylor Elgersma. From their own 14. Elgersma pitches this one underneath to Raiden Thorne. Cuts up the middle, and a gain of 5, maybe 4, will bring up 2nd and 6 for the Hawks.
Well, they show you the versatility of Thorne. We've seen them what he can do on short yardage after the catch. They'll just flip that one to Thorne and try to get him to put the speed on. Unfortunately, McMaster, they were wise to it, really let him have nowhere to go, and they'll say just a gain of 3.
McMaster averages allowing 19 points a game, which is 5th best in the OUA. It's the 4 teams you'd expect that would be ahead of them: Queens, Western, Laurier, and Windsor. As Elgersman 2nd and 6. Over the middle, Ethan Jordan can't make the catch behind him. Owen Hubert got a piece of it over the middle, and the Golden Hawks will have to punt this one away. And McMaster might get some really good field positioning late in the first half.
Yeah, Hubert just gets the fingertips on it. That changes the trajectory of the football from being a catchable ball for Ethan Jordan to falling incomplete. Another 2-and-out here for the Laurier Golden Hawks. And we will see what Dawson Hodge can do to boom so he can try to flip the field, but into the wind.
From his own 17-yard line, Laurier will wait as long as possible before they snap it, and then Hodge will look to take off as Ethan Monahan watching him. Will kill off as much time as possible before taking a knee and conceding the safety. So the Golden Hawks give up the 2 points, but the field positioning is going to be a lot better defensively for Laurier than it would have been if they had punted the football.
Yeah, it's a smart decision. They know they're punting into the wind, and the wind has started to pick up over the last couple minutes or so. So wisely sacrifice, take the safety, and make McMaster try to move the football on you, which they have not been able to do so far in the first half.
The Marauders will start from their own 35-yard line. Laurier Golden Hawks leading this one 7-2. A tight defensive battle, what you would expect between these two teams and what they've been able to do through the first 4 weeks of the season. 1st and 10 for Keegan Hall. Looks off to his right, getting pressure, screen pass to Mason, makes the catch with one hand and dives forward for a first down. Gain of 11 yards on the play to the fullback Jacob Mason. So McMaster gets a solid gain on their first play of this drive.
That was good work from Mason, and Hall dumping it off to him once again. Laurier brought pressure, they brought the blitz, but Mason shows his versatility coming out and being a receiver on the screen. First down, McMaster.
1st and 10 from their own 46. Under 2 minutes to go in half number 1. Play action to Mason. Hall spinning away from pressure, fires this one off, and that is incomplete for Everett Reed. And there's a flag that flies late. Brandon Omanua had the pressure on Keegan Hall. Everett Reed was the intended receiver. It went through his hands and fell to the turf. There is a flag, and it looks like it's against the Hawks. Chris Haggart called for the illegal contact penalty. So this puts the ball over midfield for the McMaster Marauders with 108 seconds to go in half number 1.
That's a tough one after the good pressure from Omanua, the incompletion from McMaster, and then you just give a free ability for McMaster to move the football on that penalty from Haggart.
1st and 10 from the Laurier 54 for the McMaster Marauders. Hall in an empty set. Over the middle. Incomplete on Yemenum. Had the step on the ball. A flag did fly. There is a holding call against McMaster. So this is where interesting decision. Do you push them back an extra 10 yards and give them first down, or do you have it be 2nd and 10 here? And it looks like Michael Folds is going to elect to push him back. So we've seen Stefan Potasic decline those penalties. We've seen Michael Folds now accept that penalties. Jacob Mason down at his own 45-yard line. Another injury for the Marauders.
That's one of the stories here for McMaster, and it's an unfortunate one. Mason had that nice first down catch on the opening series of this drive for McMaster. And it's another guy to the backfield, so the next fullback's Nathan Denkers, and of course you have Noah Amaral, who we've seen, and Caleb Daher, or the other men in the backfield, as we still wait to see if Braden Kelly will return.
Well, and Caleb Daher is also listed as a linebacker on the McMaster website. Hasn't played this season. So now, really, you're a first-year running back in Noah Amaral from London, who didn't dress until week 3 against the York Lions. And then you have Nathan Denkers, the first-year fullback, 6'4", 225 from Hamilton.
It's just something, obviously, it's a part of football. It happens, but when your offense struggles and, you lose someone like Jacob Patton, you lose a Braden Hall, now you're losing your fullback in Jacob Mason, versatile players that have proven they can move the sticks. It's just another backbreaker for McMaster, and someone's going to have to step up here. So I would expect McMaster to find a way. Good to see, though, Mason pop up and get off the field under his own power.
Jacob Mason off the field. Minute 43 to go in half number 1. 1st and 20 for Keegan Hall at his own 46-yard line. Keegan Hall so far in this game, 5 of 15 for 58 yards and an interception. Been sacked once by Matt Caruso. $20 yards rushing in the game for McMaster as well, as they'll go to the ground. Kelly back in the game. And Kelly will get a gain of 9 yards. So 2nd and 11 here for McMaster, as Braden Kelly checks back in for the Marauders.
And that's a great sign to see here for McMaster, as Braden Kelly, you saw that, what he can do coming out of the backfield. Good slashing ability, has the good burst of speed off the line, and makes a nice gain here, and a gain of 9, so 2nd and 12 for the Marauders.
2nd and 11 with a minute 30 to go in half number 1. Line to gain is the Laurier 44. Keegan Hall, empty set, looks to his right, now over the middle. Hall back to his right, and that catch is made by Everett Reed. He'll pick up a 1st down and get taken down by Nico McCarthy inside the 30. Big play there by the McMaster offense on 2nd and long. And Everett Reed gets an explosive play down to the Laurier 28.
Well, we've seen Everett Reed be explosive on special teams with a nice punt return, and there you can see what he can do coming out as the receiver, listed as the 2nd slot back on the left side of the field, but big gain for McMaster, as this is their best drive of the first half.
First catch of the game, that one went for 28 yards for Everett Reed as he looks to his left. Keegan Hall gets that one batted down by Abraham Odiasi. 2nd and 10 here for the McMaster Marauders.
Odiasi gets that big paw in there, his best Dikembe Mutombo impression. No. Ball falls incomplete, and Odiasi's a guy that's just really grown with his abilities and confidence over this season coming in from last year.
Golden Hawks are going to go with 3 down linemen here on 2nd and long. Line to gain is the 18. Keegan Hall looks to his right. Jackson Cooling, touchdown, McMaster! Jackson Cooling, 28 yards from Keegan Hall, and the Marauders have their first lead of the game with 1:01 to go in the 2nd quarter.
Football's a game of matchups. You put your speedy Jackson Coolings on a linebacker and Duncan Naughty. That's going to win out most times for the offense, and it's exactly what it does there. McMaster gets a huge touchdown to take the lead up by 1, looking to go up by 2 with the PAT coming up.
Michael Horvat on to attempt the extra point. 10 of 10 on extra points so far this year. Make that 11 of 11, and the McMaster Marauders have a 9-7 lead with a minute to go here in half number 1. The highest receiver in the game for McMaster heading into this drive was Matthew Gale with 1 catch for 27 yards, 2 28-yard passing plays, 1 to Everett Reed, 1 to Jackson Cooling, and all of a sudden the Marauders have the lead here, Jason.
Yeah, and Jackson Cooling now the leading receiver for McMaster with 2 catches, 38 yards, and the touchdown after that 28-yard Good go route run by Cooling, and that's exactly what McMaster needed. They needed to get some confidence going for their quarterbacks. Receivers make some big plays, showing they can pick up some good yak as well. We saw it with Reed, and then Cooling, who's probably going to be the go-to guy now with the status of Jacob Patton still up in the air, but that's a big drive for McMaster as we approach halftime.
9-7 Marauders. Their first lead of the game comes with just over a minute to go in the first half. Michael Horvat to kick this one away from his own 45 with the wind at his back. Tyreek Quayson will field it just north of the goal line. Quayson breaks a tackle before being taken down across the Laurier 20. And Taylor Elgersma will come back onto the field for the Golden Hawks with 55 seconds to go in the first half.
Quayson just couldn't hit the hole. There was an opening there, but good work by McMaster special teams. But here is when we see the best of Taylor Elgersma in these pressure situations. You know Laurier, they want to go into halftime with the lead, and they don't care how they do it, whether it's a touchdown or a field goal, but this is a great time to see what Elgers was made of.
1st and 10 from their own 21 for the Golden Hawks. Handoff to Tanner Nelms. He'll drive his feet forward to the 25, gain of 4, 2nd and 6 for the Hawks. And we'll see if Steph Potasic wants to use a timeout here. Laurier can snap this ball at 30 seconds if they use the game clock and play clock effectively. Second and 6 here for the Hawks. Play action, Elgersma, screen pass to Tanner Nelms, makes the catch, picks up the first down.
What a completion there from Elgersma with all that pressure in his face and able to find his starting tailback in Tanner Nelms to move the sticks for a first down.
Greg Thomas, Cambridge native, right in the face of Taylor Elgersma there. Elgersma drops back to pass, has to step up to get away from pressure, and he will throw this one incomplete for Jace Atkinson as he got taken down.
Well, McMaster bringing the whole house on Elgersma. A lot of pressure, and just seeing that frame and that good athletic ability there from Elgersma to avoid going down and throwing that one into the dirt.
Keep an eye on what happens on this play here, because Elgersma takes the sack in that situation. The clock runs when the referee blows the play in. Incompletion, It doesn't start. Because you'd be kicking into the wind, you don't want to give McMaster any extra time as Elgersma gets his signals crossed, and he'll go down in the backfield. And Steph Potasic will call a timeout. That play only took 4 seconds. So if Elgersma just took the sack on the first down play, it would have either forced a timeout or probably the end of the half, but McMaster's going to get the ball back and time to run a play. If they can get a good return with the wind, if they're up to the Laurier 48-yard line, they'd be in Michael Horvat field goal range.
And the way he's been kicking, at least with the punts we've seen so far, he's got a leg, and he would love to do nothing more than to try to find a way to extend this lead, but all depends how this punt will be here from Dawson Hodge and what the returners here for McMaster can do.
Everett Reed back deep to return for the McMaster Marauders, along with Aiden Nemeth. So clock won't start until the ball is snapped by Jason McGugan. Dawson Hodge will have to punt this one into the wind from his own 30. Hodge gets it away, high spiraling punt, and Nemeth will get it at his own 37. Nemeth steps out of bounds at the 45 with 6 seconds to go. The McMaster bench wants a late hit call, but they won't get it. So the Marauders will start from their own 45. Probably not enough time. They need 5 seconds to get a play into Horvat field goal range.
Yeah, it was a good booming hanging punt there from Hodge that did eat a lot of time off the clock there.
And they're just going to take a knee and finish out the half here. So they'll take 2, and head into the locker room with a 9-7 lead over the Laurier Golden Hawks, as Hall just wait for the clock to expire on half number 1. So the McMaster Marauders with a big drive at the end of half number 1 to get a 9-7 lead on the Laurier Golden Hawks. Midway through this football game, McMaster 1-3 on the year. The Golden Hawks 4-0, but they have an uphill battle. What needs to change here for Laurier in the second half, Jason?
Well, they got to have the ability to sustain some drives and deny the pressure that McMaster defense has brought. We saw success of that on that touchdown drive from Ethan Jordan, where they're getting the playmakers going, your Raiden Thorns, and then, of course, Ethan Jordan. But they've kind of gotten away from the run, what we've seen from the success they had in weeks 3 and 4. I'd expect them to maybe try to get the guys like Quentin Scott and Tanner Nelms back going here. But right now it's still a very competitive, very close game where defenses come first.
Laurier just 8 attempts for 33 rushing yards in the game. Taylor Elgersma is 15 of 23 for 180 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. But Keegan Hall and the McMaster Marauders have a 9-7 lead over the 6th-ranked team in the country in the Laurier Golden Hawks. We'll take a break for halftime. It's brought to you by Waterloo Brewing. And we'll be back with the second half in about 14 minutes' time. You're watching Laurier Golden Hawk football on OUA TV.
Where exceptional student athletes are born, where records are broken, where great plays are made, where school colors ignite passion, where champions prevail, where tradition is celebrated. Ontario University Athletics.
Laurier has amazing research opportunities. I was able to execute a project of my own and then publish it in a medical journal. So now when I applied for my master's, I was able to apply with a publication already in my tool belt.
is what girls do. This is what girls do. This is what girls do.
It's go time, Golden Hawks.
Realtor Mike and T. Milvick is your official real estate partner of Wilfrid Laurier Athletics and Recreation. Contact us for all your real estate needs.
Growing up, my idea was to play pro soccer. But I had yet to find my true calling. Until I found it here at RBC Training Ground. They saw my potential and pushed me beyond my limits. RBC Training Ground finds and funds young Canadian athletes with Olympic potential. That was their idea, and my time has come.
I chose Laurier because we're going to be getting real-life hands-on experience. The co-op program is really helpful because it kind of gets you in a real-world situation before you graduate. It definitely gives me a head start in the business world.
The Laurier community is like no other. Everyone is there to help each other.
What I love most about Laurier is definitely the people.
There's always smiling faces and waves to be shared. You feel like you have a place. You feel like you matter.
It's a warm feeling in your heart.
Realtor Mike and T. Milvick is your official real estate partner of Wilfrid Laurier Athletics and Recreation. Contact us for all your real estate needs.
What makes Laurier awesome is all the stuff you can do here, all the different events. You can get involved in so many different ways. There's so many different clubs on campus that you can get involved in, no matter what your interests are. It's great to be a Laurier Golden Hawk.
Welcome to the inaugural and the first of many diversity in sports conference. Congratulations to everybody for making this all become a reality.
I would highly recommend that people within the sport landscape in Canada definitely come out to this conference next year. There's so much good information that can be absorbed from here, and I think we can all be part of the change within Canada if we all actively engage in conversations like this.
Coming to the Diversity in Sports Conference was one of the best experiences I ever had after coming to Canada. The people I was able to meet, the people I was able to network with, the friends I made, and the learnings I gained were tremendous.
Sign up right now. Follow them on whatever social media platform they are. Email the OUA, contact them, contact whoever you need to contact, find out when they're getting ticket sales again, and get here. This is a must-do every single year. Everyone needs to be here. We need to pack this place and get at it again in 2024.
We don't have to work alone. We can do this together, and it shows by the numbers that are here that we want to improve and we want to make a better future for all Canadians. Doesn't matter where they're from, but that's the goal that we have. So thank you so much for coming to the inaugural conference, and dare I say, see you next year.
One, two, three.
Diversity in sports.
Welcome back inside the sold-out University Stadium at Wilfrid Laurier University. The McMaster Marauders have a 9-7 lead over the Laurier Golden Hawks. Jack Moore, Jason Hagholm along with you on OUA TV. Jason, a combined 61 rushing yards between these two teams, but we found that offense with less than 5 minutes to go in the first half. All 16 points came in the final 5 minutes.
Yeah, and for Laurier, I think you want to find a way to get your running game going again. It's kind of surprising to see when you look at what they've done rushing. Tanner Nelms just 6 carries for 15 yards. Taylor Elgersma was the second leading rusher with a carry for 11. And Quentin Scott, they have to get him going for just 2 carries right now, 7 yards rushing. The running game's been a big part of these last few wins for the Golden Hawks, and they have to find a way to make that become a valuable thing for them.
Dawson Hodge has it lined up to kick it off from the 45-yard line. Isaiah Shields deep to return here for McMaster. Shields will let it bounce at the 14 and pick it up at the 10. Isaiah Shields gets it up to the 30 before being taken down at the 32. So some good starting field positioning with the wind for McMaster to start the second half on Shields' second return to the game for the first year, who played at Bishop Tono's secondary school last year.
So we'll see what adjustments Keegan Hall himself has made here after a first half where he went 7 of 18, the touchdown pass, 114 yards and 1 interception. But McMaster wants to pull off this upset. He's going to have to play some really perfect football here for the next 2 quarters.
That 1 touchdown came on the last drive for McMaster of the first half. He also got 56 of his 114 yards on that drive. Keegan Hall looking for a deep shot. Matthew Gale dropped it at the Laurier 40. In behind the defense, he would have walked into the end zone, and Matthew Gale dropped it.
Love the play call there from McMaster. Why not take a shot coming right out at half, and Matthew Gale gets right behind the Laurier secondary, hits him in the hands. He just can't bring it in. The Golden Hawks defense played very stingy in that first half. They nearly got burned. They catch a huge break.
2nd and 10 for Keegan Hall and the Marauders from their own 33. Hall back to pass, looks to his right. Hall to his left now. And Mason makes the juggling catch. Steps out of bounds at the 43. That is right at the line to gain, but this should be a first down for McMaster.
And they will be a first down for McMaster. And we saw a play similar to that in the first half where Hall got it away. It was a bobble ball, ended up being an interception for the Laurier Golden Hawks this time. Good hand-eye coordination from Jacob Mason moves the change for the Marauders.
Ivy on Yemenum right there to make the play for Laurier. Couldn't get a hand on the ball, and then Mason able to juggle it in. 1st and 10 from their own 43. Brayden Kelly back into the game, gets chopped down by Jahari Hastings. That's a gain of 7, brings up 2nd and 3 for McMaster. Feels like this offense is starting to find their swagger a little bit, Jason.
Yeah, you could really tell that this McMaster offense found that groove after they got the touchdown to Jackson Cooling, and they're kind of build off of that. Didn't have enough time to really make something of it just before the end of the first half, but in the second half, they've made the adjustments, and they're step by step moving the sticks against this Golden Hawks defense.
2nd and 3 for the 6'4", 210-pound third-year Keegan Hall. Former Nelson Lord drops back to pass. Hall getting pressure, gets away, but won't get away the second time. Ivy on Yemenum making the play and getting the sack. Keegan Hall had his helmet taken off. Mack wants a penalty called, and they won't get one. 3rd down, and the Marauders will have to punt this one away.
Well, when you need a play defensively, you got to go look to your veterans, and Ivy on Yemenum makes the big sack right there for a loss of 3, 3rd and 7 for McMaster as they will punt.
3rd and 7. And Michael Horvat back on to punt for the Marauders. High, towering punt forces Quayson inside his own end zone. Tyreek Quayson trying to bounce it outside. Quayson across the 15 before being taken down. And Taylor Elgersma will start deep in his own end.
That was a nice return there from Quayson, who's really been pinned deep in his own end with some good punting from Michael Horvat here. That was his 8th punt of the afternoon, but he's really been able to flip the field. And once again, Laurier, they start deep in their own end at their own 20. And we'll see what Elgersma can do as he was able to move the football in the first half for 15 of 23, a touchdown and interception for 186 yards passing.
1st and 10 from their own 20. Elgersma hands off to Nelms, up the middle, breaks a tackle. Tanner Nelms stays on his feet before being taken down by Nanaya Surbe. Gain of 13 and a first down for the Hawks.
And that's what you want to do. You want to try to reestablish the run. You give it to your go-to running back here, Tanner Nelms, bounces off some tacklers, finds the holes, and moves the sticks for a first down. And try to build some confidence on this ground game, because if that ground game is working, this passing game is going to be that much more improved.
Gain of 14 for Tanner Nelms on 1st and 10. So a fresh set of downs for Taylor Elgersma. Ethan Jordan on the jet sweep. Has the edge. Jordan across the 40 before being taken down. Gain of about 8, maybe 9. So 2nd and short coming up for the Golden Hawks.
And once again, showing the versatility of what Ethan Jordan can do. Jordan leading receiver in this game with 6 catches, 100 yards, and the touchdown. But when you want to bring him in the backfield with those jet sweep type plays, he has the speed and he gets close to a first down here for Laurier.
2nd and short here for the Golden Hawks, 2nd and 2. Nelms still the running back. Paris Elitis, the fullback, is a slot back to the left of Elgersma. Hand off to Nelms up the middle. Drives his feet forward and picks up the first down on the gain of 3. Alex Chang on the tackle for McMaster. 6'4", 300-pound defensive tackle from London. But another fresh set of downs for the Hawks. They'll scrimmage from their own 45.
Yeah, they just needed 2. Did the Golden Hawks? They get 3 from Nelms.
1st and 10. Over the middle, Leomi Ojatalayo makes the catch down to the McMaster 40.
And you know what? The Golden Hawks, they want to get Leomi Ojatalayo back in this offense. He had a costly drop in the first half where he tried to catch the ball with his body more so than his hands. There he caught it with his hands, moves the sticks, and you use that big frame and get him in the offense going. It's just another weapon for Laurier.
1st and 10 from the McMaster 41 after the big game from Leomi Ojatalayo. Gain of 23 on his first catch of the day. Play action to Nelms. Jackson Stebbings makes the catch in the flat. Cuts it upfield, lost the football. It goes out of bounds. Who touched it last? We're waiting on the call from the referees as they're huddled up. Jackson Stebbings lost the ball. And it's McMaster football. Last touch by the Marauders. And they'll take over from their own 28.
Well, for Jackson Stebbings, he's had a great start in his rookie campaign, but we see some of that youth there. Got popped after making the completion. He turned the football over, and that's just a drive killer. Laurier's been able to do that to a lot of opponents this season, but McMaster defense, once again, so stingy, force a huge turnover to kill a great drive.
Taylor Elgersma called for an objectionable conduct after the play, so it's a 10-yard penalty. Mac will start from their own 38. So a big turn there as it looked like Laurier was driving. First and 10 from their own 38 for Keegan Hall and the McMaster offense. Matthew Gale on the sweep. Gets strung out. He lost the football. Who's got it? No signal yet. It's Laurier ball.
Well, we talked about off the top, turnovers have been killer for McMaster. They force a turnover on Laurier, but they give it right back to the Golden Hawks, much like we saw in the first half where Laurier had an interception on McMaster. McMaster gets a turnover on Laurier. The tables turn, and once again, it's a short field here for the Golden Hawks where they've made opponents pay.
So Matthew Gale, who had the drop on McMaster's first play from scrimmage, has the fumble to give the Golden Hawks the ball back inside the McMaster 40. Some movement early as flags fly. Alex Chang, the defensive tackle, saying it's against Cooper Hamilton. And that is exactly who it's against. Cooper Hamilton, the fourth year from Innisfil. 2022 second team OUA All-Star, invited to the 2023 East-West Bowl. First and 15 for the Hawks from the MAC 42. And now another flag flying against Laurier for 13 men in the formation. So this will push him back once again.
Well, that's just a penalty that cannot happen at this point in the season. I'm sure Coach Falls is definitely not too pleased about that, moving this drive backwards, which looks so promising of the start. Back-to-back penalties, so they've lost 10 yards on 2 plays without snapping the football.
You were going to start from the McMaster 37. You're now starting from the 47 without even running a play. First and 20 for Taylor Elgersma. Handoff to Tanner Nelms. Drives himself forward to the 40. Gain of 7 yards. Brings up second and 13 for the Hawks.
Well, just go to Nelms there to try to get some of that penalty yardage back. Second and 13 coming up.
This is right on the edge of Dawson Hodge field goal range into the wind. I was told before the game started, 55 with the wind, 45 against the wind. Second and 13 from the McMaster 40. Play action to Nelms. Elgersma over the middle, Raiden Thorne picks up a first down. Gain of 17 for Raiden Thorne, and the Golden Hawks move the sticks. Don't worry about a field goal.
No, you don't need to that. Go to Raiden Thorne. Give him his 7th catch of the afternoon. And Laurier with another big conversion here, moving the chains. And it's the go-to receivers that are stepping up here for Laurier in this pivotal homecoming game.
First and 10 for the Hawks from the McMaster 23. Handoff to Nelms. He follows his blocks again. Tanner Nelms inside the 10. First and goal for the Laurier Golden Hawks inside the Team Milivic Royal LePage red zone.
Yeah, when Tanner Nelms has that seam and he can run downhill, he is just a handful to take down. Host of Marauders have to bring him down, but first and goal coming up here for McMaster, or for Laurier, excuse me.
From the McMaster 8-yard line. Elgersma in shotgun. Parasolitis motions in. Handoff to Nelms. Through the crowd up the middle. He'll gain 3. Second and goal from the 5.
Well, the last time Laurier was in this territory, McMaster was able to force a turnover on downs, but once again, we got another Marauder down. Looks like Alex Chang.
Anthony Sestanovic and Alex Chang both down on the field. So both being worked on by the McMaster training staff. McMaster has gone through the injuries here today. Jacob Patton still on the McMaster sideline with his helmet off. His shoulder pads and jersey still on, but again, he had the ice on his right quad. Typically, when they put ice on the injuries, means the afternoon's over. Sean Underhill had taken off his uniform, so I presume that his afternoon is done.
But the good news for McMaster was their guys in the backfield. Their running back, Braden Kelly, was hurt, came back into play, and same with Jacob Mason. So, but yeah, it's been just a injury bug that just seems to have bitten through this Marauder squad here this afternoon.
Alex Chang being helped back to the McMaster sideline, as well as Anthony Sestanovic. So that's a starting D tackle and a starting linebacker for the McMaster Marauders. especially when you have 2nd and goal from the 5 and you're down your weak side linebacker. That's usually the guy you want to hammer the nail home. 2nd and goal. They spot him at the 4. Nelms in the backfield behind Taylor Elgersma. Elgersma drops back to pass. He'll throw to the end zone. Touchdown! Laomi Ojitalayo, his 2nd touchdown of the season, and the Golden Hawks retake the lead.
Big drive after the turnover from McMaster, and Ojitalayo has found his confidence. He loves that corner of the end zone, uses his big frame to box out the corners, and he wins out, uses his hands, catching it with his hands. When he tries to use the body, hasn't worked out so well this season, but he has great hand-eye coordination, proves it there, gets his 2nd touchdown of the season, and Laurier back to the lead.
Perfectly placed ball by Taylor Elgersma as well to that corner of the end zone. Dawson Hodge on to attempt the extra point, and it's good. So the Golden Hawks have a 14-9 lead.
Well, that's what you want to see from this Laurier offense, that they themselves found a groove. You give this Laurier offense a short field to work with, they will find a way to make the opponent pay for it. And as well, they're getting the running game going. They're getting Tanner Nelms involved rushing the football. When you see what Tanner Nelms has been able to do now, coming out, rushing the football on these last few drives here. He's got 11 carries, 57 yards on the ground, with the longest being 15 yards. Get that run to set up the pass, and it really worked out on that last drive.
That Laurier touchdown brought to you by Waterloo Brewing. I had the Cruncherito last night for dinner, paired with a Waterloo Dark. Asparagus-based tortilla chips as well. Very, very good. Pulled pork Cruncherito.
With this Laurier defense, they just had a Cruncherito on their last series, forcing the turnover. And we'll see now how Keegan Hall can respond with McMaster.
Wynn knocking the ball off the tee for Dawson Hodge as he gets set to kick this one off from his own 45. 14-9, the Laurier Golden Hawks lead after that Laomi Ojitalayo touchdown catch from Taylor Elgersma from 4 yards out. Elgersma now 20 of 28 for 253 and 2 touchdowns. Dawson Hodge boots this one away to the McMaster 14, and Isaiah Shields will get it as zone 10. Isaiah Shields stays up and gets across to the Laurier 35 before being taken down, and Keegan Hall will come back onto the field. And another Marauder injured at his own 15-yard line. It's Nathan Denkers.
Yeah, Denkers popped up like he was trying to be okay, but just went right down. He is not feeling well at all. Right after that kickoff came to the McMaster side, and another body for McMaster has hurt. That's got to be, we're nearing double digits, it feels like, Jack.
Well, that's another running back to go down in this one. So that's the 3rd of 5 running backs that have dropped down to the turf. Jacob Mason is up on his feet and with his helmet on, so we presume that he can keep playing. But Nathan Denkers, the first year from Hamilton, 6'4", 225-pound fullback. So Keegan Hall will start from his own 36 as Denkers walks off to his sideline. McMaster now trailing by 5 with 6:45 to go in the 3rd quarter. Keegan Hall hands this one off to Kelly, and he gets swallowed up in the backfield. Omari Hastings, 2nd and long for the Marauders.
What a play there by Omari Hastings, blowing that up for the McMaster Marauders. Hastings just beats his man and makes a serious tackle for a big loss. 2nd tackle of the afternoon for Hastings, but a huge loss of 4 for McMaster.
2nd and 14 for the Marauders from their own 32. Keegan Hall in shotgun. Looks to his left, now over the middle. Underneath, and a big hit. Ify Onyemanum. Everett Reed made the catch, And the fifth-year linebacker for the Hawks, drafted in the 6th round by the Toronto Argonauts, Ify Onyeminum.
Wow, what a tackle there by Onyeminum. All alone there on Reed, and he absolutely blows up Reed for just a gain of 4, but it's going to be a McMaster punt, and this Laurier defense once again have flipped the field. They've are setting the tone again in this football game.
That was all 6'1", 220 of Ify, as Michael Horvat boots that one away to Jackson Stebbings. And Stebbings will break a tackle across the 35 and fight across the 40. Gets an extra 10 yards, and the Golden Hawks will start from their own 40 after their last drive resulted in a touchdown.
Yeah, Stebbings bounced off one tackle to pick up an extra 10 yards, and we'll see what the Laurier Golden Hawks can do, building on a touchdown drive. Well, they will start at their own 41, and they look to move the football here with some good confidence in it. They've shown they can mix it up with through the air and on the ground here to start the second half.
Last drive was a 37-yard touchdown drive that took 2 minutes and 27 seconds off the clock. Elgersma out on 1st and 10 from his own 41. Laurier winning the time of possession by about a minute in this one. Ethan Jordan makes the catch on the screen. Cuts up the middle and breaks a tackle as he goes down just across the 50. They mark him at the 51, and they'll give him a first down on the gain of 10.
Yeah, Jordan so shifty, trying to break through, and nearly did before he got wrapped up from behind by Drake Bodie on the tackle. But once again, going to one of your favorite targets, got a touchdown today, and you can see what Jordan can do. He's in that groove right now, Jack.
8 catches for 118 yards and a touchdown for Ethan Jordan on the afternoon. 14-9, the Golden Hawks lead with 4.5 to go in the third quarter. Jack Moore, Jason Hagholm with you on OUA TV. Elgersma on 1st and 10. He'll fire it to the far side for Jordan. Made the catch. Was he inbounds? He was. Big pitch and catch from Taylor Elgersma to Ethan Jordan. And the Golden Hawks have a 1st and 10 from the McMaster 33.
9th catch of the afternoon now for Ethan Jordan, and what a job by him to toe the sideline and make that catch with the pressure coming on him, hold on, go out of bounds, and another big first down for Laurier through the air.
Gain of 26 on the play. So that'll put Ethan Jordan over 140 yards through the air. 1st and 10 for Elgersma. Hands off to Tanner Nelms. Driving himself forward before being hauled down on the gain of 5. So 2nd and medium coming up for the Golden Hawks. Dominic Lemani making the tackle for McMaster.
And Nelms has done a good job of following his blockers here in the second half, and that run game that just looked like it wasn't even here in the first half is starting to come to life as Nelms just battling off some tackles, and once again makes it a 2nd and medium and manageable for this Laurier offense.
They'll go double tight with 3 receivers to the right. Tanner Nelms in the backfield. Elgersma to pass. He'll fire it off to Jordan for his 10th catch of the afternoon, and that's a first down for the Hawks on the gain of 9 yards. Give him 153th receiving for Ethan Jordan.
And Jordan had 11 catches in the win over Guelph 2 weeks ago, and he is on pace to just absolutely obliterate that, as there's still 2:55 left to go here in the third quarter with a whole other quarter to go.
Ball on the 19, so the Golden Hawks 1st and 10 inside the Team Milivic Royal LePage red zone. 4 receivers to the left of Taylor Elgersma as Parasolitis motions in. Hand off to Nelms. He follows the blocks and gets chopped down on the gain of 3, maybe 4. So 2nd and 6 coming up for the Golden Hawks.
Yeah, trying to follow the blocks once again. That time was Tanner Nelms, but that time the McMaster defense was wise enough to it to make it just a gain of 4. So 2nd and 6 coming up here for Laurier.
Nelms stays in the game for the Golden Hawks. 13 carries for 66 yards. Elgersma gets away from pressure and pulls it down himself. Gets a block from Ojitalayo down to the goal line, and they'll mark him on the 1.
Oh. Well, that just shows how fearless Elgersma is. A lot of people up here wanted him to slide, but called his own number. Has the head-on collision. His helmet pops up. Good to see that he's okay. But once again, we do have another injured Marauder on the field.
Drake Bodie down for the McMaster Marauders.
And I'm sure Coach Falls will now tell Elgers, maybe slide next time.
A big 6'6", 220 frame. He wanted to finish in the end zone for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. Elgersma 23 of 31 for 298, 2 touchdowns and an interception in this game. Also has now 2 carries for 25 yards on the ground. And the Golden Hawks have 1st and goal from the McMaster 1. A touchdown would make this a 2-possession game for the Golden Hawks. Elgersma will go under center on the goal line. Keeps it himself over the top. Touchdown! 3rd rushing touchdown of the season for Taylor Elgersma. His 3rd total touchdown of the game. And the Golden Hawks strike again in the 3rd quarter.
Well, what adjustments this Laurier offense has made. Elgersma, he set up that touchdown play with himself calling his own numbers, just dives in over the goal line, does the stanky leg, and makes it a 2-score game with Elgersma's 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. And this offense, Jack, that we were a little worried about maybe in that first half, they found their groove.
So Taylor Elgersma does it himself from the 15, gets down to the 1, and then finishes the drive in the end zone. Dawson Hodge for the extra point. It's good. And the Golden Hawks up 21-9 with 1:19 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Golden Hawks going against the wind here in quarter number 3, and all of their offense has come against the wind in this contest, Jason.
And that's huge considering there's 1:19 left here in the 3rd quarter, and they're going to have the wind at their back, where that would seem like that's just going to really benefit this offense even more so. But just some great work by this Laurier offense, really airing it out, letting Tanner Nelms have to carry it on the ground when needed, and they're mixing up the run with the pass nicely and cashing in as well. They're finishing drives, which they couldn't be able to do in the first half. Couple 2-and-outs. Now they're cashing in these drives and really going to have to make Keegan Hall and this McMaster offense work to find a way back in this football game.
So Laurier Golden Hawks will kick this one off once again. Our out-of-town scores brought to you by the Crown Plaza KW. 66-7, Guelph leads York. Western up 28-10 on the Ottawa GGs. Carleton Ravens have a 30-0 lead on the Toronto Varsity Blues. Isaiah Shields from his own 6. Will return this one up the middle and be chopped down at the 25, where Keegan Hall and this McMaster offense will come out once again, but now facing a 12-point deficit.
And just think how big that drop deep ball from Matthew Gale was to open this 3rd quarter, the 2nd half. It's a different football game if he catches that and runs into the end zone.
Well, that was when they were up 9-7. And then the 37-yard touchdown drive to Laomi Ojitalayo. That was started by the Matthew Gale fumble. 1st and 10 for the McMaster Marauders at their own 25. With 1:05 to go in quarter number 3. Braden Kelly, the running back, beside Keegan Hall. Hall looks to his right. That's where he goes. Catch is made by Devontae Hudson, who breaks a tackle down the sidelines before Ethan Bayfield chops him out of bounds and takes a ref with him.
Yeah, great catch and run there by Devontae Hudson, putting the stiff arm that time on Chris Haggart to move the sticks and get out of bounds. 47 seconds remain here in the 3rd quarter.
Hall spotted on the 42. Gain of 17 for Devontae Hudson. Second year from Kitchener. Four receptions for 25 yards last week. Got his first catch of the game there. Hall to Everett Reed, who makes the catch, gains 12, and a first down for McMaster.
And that's the guy has done a good job stepping up here, is Everett Reed, making some good catches. And now McMaster's going to have to see what Hall can really do through the air. And so far, so good with some good catch and runs and some first downs.
1st and 10 from their own 54. Final play barring a defensive penalty in quarter number 3. Hall play action to Kelly. Rolls to his right. Keegan Hall has to throw it away with Matt Caruso chasing him down. So the Laurier Golden Hawks will take a 21-9 lead into quarter number 4 against the McMaster Marauders. Laurier trying to improve to 5-0. The McMaster Marauders trying to avoid dropping to 1-4 on the season. The fourth quarter brought to you by Izio Financial and Sun Life is coming up after the break. You're watching Laurier Golden Hawk football on OUA TV. Welcome back inside the sold-out University Stadium at 2023 Laurier Homecoming. The number 6 Laurier Golden Hawks have a 21-9 lead over the McMaster Marauders heading into the fourth quarter. Jack Moore, Jason Hagholm with you on OUA TV. Keegan Hall has 2nd and 10 from his own 54. McMaster going into the wind in quarter number 4. Hall throws this one to the flats, and Gale can't make the catch. 3rd and 10, and McMaster will have to punt this one away.
And the struggles there for Gale continue. He had the drop deep ball early, a fumble, and just can't have that one be brought in. Hit him in the hands, just couldn't bring it just a little outside of his reach there. But once again, another drive stalls for McMaster. They will punt.
So Michael Horvat on to punt again. His 10th punt of the game so far. 50-yard average, his long 78. Now punting into the wind, still gets a good one off as Quayson knocks it down at his own 10, and Jackson Stebbings picks it up. That could have been disastrous for the Golden Hawks. Tyree Quayson had a fumble last week against Waterloo, but Jackson Stebbings there to bail out his fellow returner.
That could have been disastrous. That could have been a momentum shift that McMaster really needed, but heads-up play there by Jackson Stebbings to fall on that loose football and not give McMaster a super short field.
So the Golden Hawks will scrimmage 1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line. Last 2 drives have put the ball into the end zone. Last drive was 69 yards on 7 plays over 4 minutes. Tanner Nelms cuts it up the middle, dropped at the 15, gain of 5, 2nd and 5 for the Hawks.
And that's one thing that Tanner Nelms does so well. Like, obviously you want your running back maybe to get you a first down, but to make it 2nd and manageable, 2nd and 5, 2nd and medium, that's just a valuable asset to have from a tailback, especially here pinned deep in your own end.
14th carry of the game for 71 yards for Tanner Nelms in this one. averaging right at 5 yards a carry. 2nd and 5 for Elgersma from his own 15. Fires this one off. Ethan Jordan makes the catch. That's his 11th of the game. That'll move the sticks, and the Golden Hawks will have 1st and 10 at their own 24.
So Ethan Jordan right now matches his completions, his receptions from just 2 weeks ago against the Guelph Griffins. But what a catch that was, too. I had to jump up and get it and fight forward to move the chains for the Golden Hawks.
41 receptions on the year for over 450 yards for Ethan Jordan. 1st and 10. Elgersma. Play action to Nelms. Has time over the middle. Leomi Ojatalayo makes the catch, and he has space to run it down the sideline. Nana Yasserba takes him down inside the MAC 30. Big play from Leomi Ojatalayo.
Just his 3rd catch of the afternoon, but biggest and most important of the game. And what a way to make up after what looked like an easy catch in the first half. Has the touchdown, and that's a huge gain. Good catch and run there for Ojatalayo. Make that a 56-yard catch.
3 catches for 84 yards in the game and a touchdown from Leomi Ojatalayo. The Golden Hawks have 1st and 10 from the MAC 30. Play action again. Elgersma fires that one off to Rayden Thorne, breaks a tackle, gets a block inside the 15. 1st and 10 for the Hawks from the McMaster 13-yard line.
Well, that was a good job to make something out of nothing there. It looked like Elgersma was trying to throw it away, but he gets it to Thorne. Thorne makes a nice move and moves the chains once again for the Golden Hawks, though we do have Tanner Elson down.
Tanner Elson off to the Laurier sideline under his own power. 1st and 10 for the Hawks. Started this drive at their own 10. 87 yards they've gained on this drive so far. Three running backs in the formation for the Hawks. Play action to Scott. Rayden Thorne makes the catch, and he'll get forced out of bounds at the 3. That's a 1st down for the Hawks. So 1st and goal inside the Team Milivic Royal LePage red zone for the Golden Hawks.
The last time they had 1st and goal, it was Elgersma calling his own number, plunging over the goal line for the touchdown. Thorne tried to get that ball on the pylon short, but once again, a 1st and goal coming up here for Laurier.
All 3 running backs in the formation for the Hawks. Bassick, Hayden, Nelms, and Scott. Play action to Scott. Elgersma hits the goalpost, trying to find Leomi Ojatalayo.
That's one of those only in Canada problems right there, but you could just see the strike that Elgersma wanted there. He wanted to go to that big body in the end zone again, and Ojatalayo to give him his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. He started the success of this drive. Why not cash him off? Just unfortunately hit the goalpost.
2nd and goal from the 3-yard line. Hawks will go double tight with Tanner Nelms in the backfield and a fullback lined up in the slot to the right. Taylor Elgersma. Hands off to Tanner Nelms, driving forward. Touchdown, Laurier! Tanner Nelms. 2nd touchdown of the season. His 15th carry for 74 yards in the game, and the Golden Hawks finish their 3rd consecutive drive in the end zone.
And that's so key as well for Tanner Nelms. He got stopped on the opening drive of the game by this McMaster defense, but this time Nelms follows his blockers, just squeaks over, breaks the plane, and moves the sticks. That's, as you said, Jack, 3 straight touchdown drives for Laurier, and as well look to add with the PAT.
Dawson Hodge is good, his 4th extra point of the game. And the Golden Hawks have a 28-9 lead. Tanner Nelms on the ground. And the Hawks trying to put this one away early in the fourth quarter, but McMaster getting the football back here.
But when this Laurier offense gets in their groove, when they have confidence and they can move the football, they're just really hard to stop. I mean, McMaster is a very stingy defense. We saw that all in the first half, and defense has kept them in a lot of these games they've been in this year. But this Laurier offense, they can just break your will with the ability for how they can move the football, whether it's through the air, on the ground. And right now, Elgersma right now is in such a groove, playing with confidence, and a new big weapon as well in Oja Talayo.
Taylor Elgersma in the game, 27 of 36 for 390 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Ethan Jordan, 11 catches for 162 yards and a touchdown. Raiden Thorne, 9 catches for 106 yards. Naomi Oja Talayo, 3 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. The Golden Hawks up by 19 with 11.5 to go. Hodge boots this one deep as Isaiah Shields takes it inside his own end zone. Shields breaks a couple tackles. Isaiah Shields chopped down by Dawson Hodge at his own 31.
Shields has had some nice returns this afternoon for the Marauders, and that one was the best as he almost took it to the house, but good work by Dawson Hodge, the kicker, to chop down his man and, more importantly, save what could have been a dangerous touchdown.
5.5 total tackles on the season for Dawson Hodge. Don't tell Jason McGugan, who doesn't have any, the long snapper for the Hawks. I'm sure those are fun special teams meetings. 1st and 10 for McMaster from their own 31. Keegan Hall fires this one out. Hudson makes the catch. Chris Haggart makes the tackle immediately on the gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
Well, it's a high ball that Hudson has to jump up high to get, but once again, these Laurier defensive players, whether in the secondary, the linebacker up front, one-on-one, these solo tackles, that's a very hard tackle to make in the open field, and Haggart made it look very easy, driving his man back and only letting a gain of 3 happen.
2nd and 7 for Keegan Hall. Under 10.5 to play in this game. Hall drops back to pass, fires this one off. Jackson Cooling makes the catch at the 40 before being thrown down by Ethan Gregorczyk. Cooling will be a yard short of the line to gain, so 3rd and 1 here for the McMaster Marauders, and they'll put on their heavy unit and bring in the backup quarterback, Steven Narancic.
Yeah, big jumbo unit on here for the Marauders. They know they need to move the sticks here and get a first down.
3rd and 1 from their own 40. Narancic under center. Fumbled the ball. Where will they spot him? It looks like he's short. The Golden Hawks will take over on downs.
Well, that was a 3rd and 1 that McMaster needed. Just couldn't handle the snap. Couldn't Narancic. And Laurier's defense stands tall, and they give their offense another short field to work with.
Golden Hawks now winning the time of possession battle, 28 minutes to 21. Something that McMaster had been so good at so far this year, averaging the ball for 31.5 minutes a game. 9.5 to go here in the fourth quarter. 28-9, Laurier leads. They have 1st and 10 from the MAC 39. Elgersma for Ethan Jordan makes the catch, and he goes down at the MAC 22. Gain of 17 and a first down for the Hawks. Put Elgersma over 400 yards passing on the game.
And give Ethan Jordan 12 catches for the afternoon. Just pitch and catch work between the go-to guy and the quarterback. And you just love to see Ethan Jordan get back involved in the offense after a very quiet week last week against Waterloo.
1st and 10 from the McMaster 22 for the Hawks. Elgersma in shotgun with Quentin Scott. Drops back to pass, swings it out for Scott. Stumbling and gets hit immediately. He'll gain maybe 1 yard on the play. So 2nd and long coming up for Laurier as Aaron Lavers makes the tackle for McMaster.
Well, Scott at least did well to stay upright, nearly fell down trying to make the catch, but used his frame to stay upright and pick up that extra bit of yardage for 2nd and 8, or actually they'll give him just the 1, 2nd and 9 coming up here for Laurier.
2nd and 9 for the Hawks from the McMaster 21. Elgersma, play action to Scott, and he'll go the screen to Scott. Following his blocks, Quentin Scott driving down. He'll be just short of the 12. They'll mark him at the 14-yard line. So the gain of 7 will bring up 3rd and 2 inside the Team Milivic Royal LePage red zone.
Well, looks like once again Laurier's going to keep the offense on. Nope, they're going to bring Dawson Hodge out right now. They're going to bring the field goal unit on, and once again we do have another injured Marauder.
Golden Hawks coming into the game, 9 of 10 in the red zone on the season. 8 of the 10 of those trips to the red zone, they had resulted in touchdowns. So they typically don't settle for field goals inside the red zone. But 3rd and 2, up by 19. This would put them up by 22. Which if McMaster were to mount to come back in the last 7.5 minutes of the game, that means they have to get at least 1 2-point conversion.
Yeah, I don't hate this decision as well. I know they love to go for it, do the Laurier Golden Hawks, but they got a comfortable lead. You got Dawson Hodge with the wind at his back. This is almost a virtual chip shot here for Dawson Hodge.
5 of 9 on this season for Dawson Hodge. Remember, he started 4 of 8 on the year. He was 3 of 6 in game 1 against the Queens Gales, which Laurier won 11-10. So 21 yards for Dawson Hodge down the middle of the field. Long on the year is 45. Hodge gets this one up and to the left, so he'll get the Rouge. And Laurier goes up by 20 on Dawson Hodge's 5th miss of the season.
Well, that may be the broadcaster jinx there. Said it was a virtual chip shot. Unfortunately, he pushed it far into the left. So it just gets the single, but that's just been slightly an issue. It looked like he had corrected it. But yeah, as you said, Jack, 5 misses for a guy that last year was basically automatic when kicking field goals.
2022 All-Canadian punter, 2021 Team Rookie of the Year for the Laurier Golden Hawks. Hit the ball really well. It went right out of the back of the end zone. No chance for McMaster to even try and avoid the Rouge. But this does leave the door cracked open for McMaster. 3 single-point converted touchdowns would give them a victory at this point. But they need to start with 1.
Yeah, this is an offense that showed glimpses early here in the second half and all game long. They got a deep touchdown late when they were able to hit to Jackson Cooling. But other than that, this Laurier defense has been able to keep this Marauder offense in check.
Keegan Hall, 14 of 28 for 165 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Longest pass of the game, 28 yards. I had 1 to Everett Reed, 1 to Jackson Cooling. We're ready to get back underway. Under 7.5 to go in the 4th quarter. Brought to you by Izio Financial and Sun Life. Empty set, high snap. Keegan Hull has to retreat inside his own 15 with Abraham Odiasi chasing him down. Threw it out of bounds, and this should be intentional grounding.
Yeah. That was just a miscue from the start. High snap as Hall had to track it down, but that should definitely be intentional grounding. No receiver even in the vicinity of where Hall was throwing that.
Inside the tackles, ball didn't make it back to the line of scrimmage.
The whole list. Well,
how big is the area? They said that
Mars.
pretty close. They said Jacob Mason was in the area. So 2nd and 10 here for McMaster after the high snap and the non-intentional grounding. 2nd and 10 from their own 35. They'll go empty set again. Keegan Hall fires this one off. Falls incomplete for Jackson Cooling. Chris Haggart right there. And McMaster will have to punt this one away.
Well, just couldn't get anything started there was McMaster after that snap flies over Hall's head. And once another ball that just dropped short of the receiver. So we'll see what Horvat can do here as this wind is starting to pick up in his direction.
Horvat to boot this one away for the 11th time in the game. High spiraling punt that Quayson will get at his own 35 and step out at the 44. So the Golden Hawks will take over 1st and 10 from their own 44, up by 20 with 6:40 to go in the 4th quarter.
And this Golden Hawks offense has moved the football very well. They've picked up points on their last 4 drives, 3 touchdowns, and then the Rouge just moments ago after the Dawson Hodge missed field goal. But Taylor Algusma is slinging the football right now.
1st and 10 from his own 44. Elgersma 30 of 39 for 415 yards and 2 touchdowns. Double tight set for the Hawks with Quentin Scott in the backfield. Handoff to Scott. Has a crease. Quentin Scott in open field. Gets wrestled down inside the McMaster 35. Big gain by Quentin Scott. 1st and 10 for the Hawks from the McMaster 32-yard line.
What a run there from Quentin Scott. He put on the Jets, followed his blockers, and carried a couple McMaster defenders with him. And did Scott need that. Coming after that, before that carry, just 2 carries for 7 yards. Now that's his longest of a 14-yard run.
34-yard run for Quentin Scott on that one. Elgersma fires it out for Raiden Thorne, makes the catch inside the 25, and he gets himself down to the 16-yard line inside the Team Milivic Royal LePage red zone.
Once again, Thorne, big target. Give him now 10 catches on the afternoon.
1st and 10 again for Laurier, which McMaster's defense had stood him up really, really well in the first half, but this Laurier offense has whittled them down here with 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Handoff to Quentin Scott, and he'll drive down to the 13-yard line. A gain of 4 will bring up 2nd and 6.
Yeah, Scott just plunges forward and picks up a nice 4-yard gain for the Laurier Golden Hawks. And good to see him get that confidence going on the ground. Really hadn't seen much of him coming up, more so as a receiver than as a running back. But late in the game, these running backs, they can be backbreakers, and we've just seen what Scott's been able to do on this series.
Golden Hawks only had 33 rushing yards at halftime. They have 146 in the game now. 2nd and 6, Elgersma. Pressure, ball comes loose. Owen Hubert's on it. Did he get the recovery, or did the Golden Hawks offensive line jump on it? And it was recovered by the Golden Hawks. So it brings up 3rd down. Elgersma got smoked from behind.
Yeah, he didn't see that coming. He thought he had more time in the pocket than he did and got crushed off the edge. Lost the football, and once again, Laurier was able to recover, but Dawson Hodge back out to try to hit a field goal. Just missed a 21-yarder moments ago. 25-yarder, I should say. This is a 35-yarder, but missed a 21-yarder just moments to go. So now he's going to try to redeem himself. Does have a nice burst of wind, too, at the back right now.
Inside the right hash, 35-yard attempt for Dawson Hodge to put the Hawks up 23. Hodge puts it up, and he missed it wide left again. Everett Reed on the return. Gets a block and brings it out of the end zone. Everett Reed has a step. Gets another block. Everett Reed down the sideline inside the Laurier 50 before being thrown out of bounds by the Golden Hawk holder, Jackson Stebbings.
Oh, how about that? Once good hustle from Reed after the missed field goal. Back-to-back missed field goals here from Dawson Hodge. And Reed kind of ran out of gas just after he entered into Laurier territory before Jackson Stebbings can knock Reed out of bounds.
5 of 11 on the year for Dawson Hodge. 2 missed field goals to the left with the wind at his back. So 3.5 to go. McMaster down 20. They'll scrimmage from the Laurier 47-yard line. Empty set for Keegan Hall. Gets pressure, and he'll throw it into the ground towards Jackson Cooling. So 2nd and 10.
More pressure coming from the big guys up front for Laurier. There was Caruso, there was Omanua, and Sedum. And once again, Hall felt the pressure and just checks it into the ground.
2nd and 10. Empty set. Keegan Hall drops back, fires this one off. Matthew Gale can't make the catch. 3rd and 10 for the Marauders from the Laurier 47.
That was low at the knees there of Gale, and he just couldn't bring it in. And no gain on that drive. So McMaster, looks like they're punting? Kind of surprises me here a little bit, Jack,
And
with 2:53 left.
The McMaster Marauders will call a timeout, and I think they want to rethink this. You punt this ball away, you're essentially conceding the game.
Yeah, especially, I mean, 2:53, crazier things have happened in the realm of Canadian football.
September 23rd to October 1st marks the first of 2 OUA Anti-Racism Awareness Weeks during the 2023-2024 season. This year's theme speaks to the powerful meaning that the words "I belong" possess for student athletes, coaches, support staff, and administrators within underrepresented groups. Follow along with the OUA social media channels at OUA Sport all week long for more about Anti-Racism Awareness Week and the importance of belonging. So 3rd and 10, and they do bring the offense back onto the field.
And that makes more sense.
2:53 to go in the 4th quarter, down by 20. Line to gain is the Laurier 37. Hall drops back to pass, has pressure. Luke Brubaker gets home, his 5th sack of this season.
And that may be the KO that this Laurier team needed, and why not get it with the guy with the boxing background, comes off the edge, and finally someone gets home on Keegan Hall.
So the Golden Hawks get the turnover on downs, and they'll take over from the midfield stripe at the 55. Maybe they should have punted. What do we know?
What do we know?
2:48 to go in the 4th quarter. Laurier leading 29-9 against McMaster. They have 1st and 10 as Isaac Willis into the game for the Hawks. He'll hand this one off. Tanner Nelms gets taken down by Owen Hubert right at the original line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 10 coming up. Willis went 1 of 2 for 2 yards last week, coming in relief against the Waterloo Warriors. He did miss Ryan Hughes on the far sideline on what would have been a big play. So Taylor Elgersma's day is done, 31 of 40 for 430 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also adds 3 carries for 26 yards and a touchdown on the ground. And Isaac Willis has 2nd and 10 from midfield. Play action to Bassick Hayden. Isaac Willis over the middle. Laomi Ojatalayo makes his 4th catch of the game. Gain of 30 down to the MAC 25.
That's a great ball there from Isaac Willis, right over the fingertips of the McMaster defender this time in Owen Hubert, and right into the hands of Ojatalayo, who's having a sensational second half.
4th catch of the game, 109 yards for Laomi Ojatalayo. Also had a touchdown. 2:05 to go in the 4th quarter. 1st and 10 from the MAC 25. Handoff is to Darian Bassick-Hayden. He'll drive himself forward inside the 20. Gain of 6 will bring up 2nd and 4 for the Hawks.
Yeah, Bassick-Hayden, part of the third head of this 3-headed running back monster, was able to just fit that big frame through that little hole and pick up a nice gain of 7. 2nd and 3 coming up for Laurier.
So Willis lines up in shotgun with Bassick-Hayden behind him, double tight for the Hawks, 3 receivers to the right. Handoff to Bassick-Hayden, bounces it up outside. Bassick-Hayden drives himself inside the 10, 1st and goal coming up for the Hawks. They're inside the Team Millivic Royal LePage red zone. And 1st down for the Golden Hawks on the Bassick-Hayden carry.
Back-to-back carries there for Bassick-Hayden, and he's just like a bowling ball. He's so hard to take down when he's rumbling, has that open field. 1st and goal for the Golden Hawks.
Just over a minute to go here in the 4th quarter. Double tight again for Laurier. Bassick-Hayden takes the handoff. Bounces it back to the right. He'll go down at the 6-yard line, 2nd and goal for the Hawks.
Aaron Lavers with a good shoestring tackle there, taking down Bassick-Hayden, because the one way he was going was clogged, and he saw a lane to the right side as he was looking for the end zone. And we do have another injured Marauder on the field.
Looks like Mitch Price down on the field for McMaster. The big 3rd-year D tackle from Caledon. Anchors the middle of that defensive line for the Marauders. 2 total tackles in this one. Guelph Griffins up 81-7 on the York Lions. Carleton up 39-7 on the Toronto Varsity Blues. And the Western Mustangs have pulled away 36-17. They lead the Ottawa Gee-Gees. Out-of-town scores brought to you by the Crown Plaza KW. So now the attention of the OUA turns to that 4 o'clock start in Windsor between the undefeated Windsor Lancers, Danny Skelton, Joey Zorn, that phenomenal rushing attack that Windsor has, that phenomenal defense they have. Queens, 1 and 2, has to start to figure it out at some point. They are in danger of starting the year 1 and 3.
Yeah, that's a very pivotal game. I mean, who would have thought coming into this week with teams being undefeated? You know, a lot of people thought obviously Western, Laurier had the potential, but not a lot of people saw Windsor. They got the chance to go 5-0 in a matter of moments.
Isaac Willis will throw to the end zone for Ryan Hughes. Touchdown! First career passing touchdown for Isaac Willis. First career receiving touchdown for Ryan Hughes.
That was an impressive catch there from Hughes as he was held up. There maybe should have been a flag for pass interference. Doesn't matter. Ryan Hughes, one-handed grab, and what a ball thrown to him by Isaac Willis. For the touchdown, it's 35-9 as we wait the PAT.
Dawson Hodge, good on the extra point. And the Laurier Golden Hawks have a 36-9 lead over the McMaster Marauders with 41 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
What a game this has been, Jack. This is, football's about a game of adjustments. Huge adjustments by this Laurier offense, defense stepping up when needed, and able to just shut out McMaster here in the second half. They were up 9-7 starting this second half. They've been outscored 14 and 15 points they gave up in the third, and right now 15 in the fourth. It's been all Laurier in the second half.
29-0.
Yeah.
They have outscored McMaster in the second half. Chris Povey, the public address announcer here at University Stadium, just telling the crowd, Ethan Jordan, 179 yards. Rayton Thorne, 121. Laomi Ojatalayo, 114 yards. Ojatalayo and Jordan each with a touchdown. Elgersma, like we mentioned, finishes the game with 430 yards. So I think that average of 313 yards, which paces the OUA, is going to go up just a bit here. And, you go back to the conversation we had last week where Elgersma threw for 440 against Guelph and 6 touchdowns as Hodge boots this one away, and Isaac Shields will return it from his own goal line. Shields gets taken down by Griffiths just past the 20. But after the game against Guelph, people are like, oh, well, Guelph, maybe not the best opponent. How do you do it? Can you do it again in back-to-back weeks? Comes out, throws for 318 yards in the Battle of Waterloo on home field. Oh, well, it's Waterloo. How can you do against a real opponent? Well, this McMaster defense, which averaged allowing 19 yards a game, and that's with Windsor and Western on their schedule. Taylor Elgersma throws for 430 and 2 touchdowns. I think this kid is for real, Jason.
Yeah, I would say so. You can just see the confidence, the poise he has. He's not afraid with the deep ball, and he's got some serious weapons there. Thorne, he's got Jordan, and Ojatalayo stepping up today.
Play action is to get a change at quarterback for the McMaster Marauders. Steven Narancic, as Mason Watson makes his first play on the defensive line for the Golden Hawks. Brought in as a running back. There was no clear path for him to play relatively soon as a running back, so he gained 35 pounds, went from 205 to he's about 240 now, and now a backup defensive end, and he gets the deflection there on 1st and 10. 31 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, and Laurier leading this one 36-9 over the McMaster Marauders. Narancic on 2nd and 10 for Cooling, and he dropped it with Ethan Bayfield coming downhill on him.
And that's been one of the stories here for McMaster in the second half. Drop balls, missed opportunities. Because remember, if they're able to hit Matthew Gale in that first play of the second half, would have been a walk-in touchdown. Gale did everything right except bringing the football. It's a different football game. Different energy that's going to have to come out. Different energy from McMaster. Since then, it was all Laurier.
This was a 9-7 game at the half. So McMaster will keep the offense out there on 3rd and 10 from their own 22. Steven Narancic in shotgun. Narancic looks to his right, intercepted! Ify on Yemenum, and he'll take it back for a touchdown. The Golden Hawks blowing this game wide open in the second half, and it's capped off by a defensive touchdown by Ify on Yemenum.
On Yemenum with the pick six. He was nearly there to pick up that tip ball on the first pass of that series from McMaster, but he reads the coverage perfectly, picks Narancic, and runs it back for the pick six for his first touchdown of the year.
They marked him out at the 3-yard line, so it wasn't a touchdown.
So scratch the touchdown, but super short field here for the Laurier offense, and what a interception again from Onyemenum.
So the Golden Hawks will have 1st and goal from the McMaster 3, and Isaac Willis will kneel out this game for the Laurier Golden Hawks. They'll let the clock hit 0 after the referee Adam Hinks blows in the play. And the Laurier Golden Hawks will move to 5-0, their best start to a season since 2007. The Golden Hawks stay undefeated with the 36-9 win over the McMaster Marauders. McMaster drops to 1-4. And for their playoff hopes to stay alive, they have to win out. But really, Jason, this game came down to the second half.
Yep.
And it was the Golden Hawks blowing it open with 29 unanswered points in half number 2.
Just an unbelievable effort, 4 adjustments. Laurier, they struggled getting the run going in the first half. Well, they changed that with the ability to rush the football, get Tannenbaum's going. He finishes with 16 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown. And how about Taylor Algersma airing the football out, having 2 touchdown passes today. Leomi Ojetaleo stepping up. Of course, Ethan Jordan, Raiden Thorne, double digits in receptions. And the Laurier Golden Hawks can make their fans have a happy homecoming. They move to 5-0 as they hit the bye week next week before a big stretch to close the season out, Jack, with games in Ottawa against the GGs, right here against the Windsor Lancers, and they close the season out in London against the Western Mustangs.
You're right. We won't be back here at University Stadium until October 14th when the Windsor Lancers come in to play the Laurier Golden Hawks. Windsor's game against Queens kicks off 4 p.m. on OUA TV. That's going to be a good one. The Laurier Golden Hawks, they do what they needed to do. They go to 5-0 heading into the bye, like you mentioned, Jason. Their best start to a season since 2007, and there's a lot of reasons to be excited about what this Golden Hawk team can do down the stretch of the season. 36-9, the final here from University Stadium. The Golden Hawks win on homecoming 2023 against the McMaster Marauders, and the number 6 ranked team in the country is ready to roll into the bye week at 5-0. For our technical producer, Phil Dolmich, Jason Hagholm, I'm Jack Moore saying good afternoon from University Stadium, and we'll see you in 3 weeks when the Golden Hawks take on the Windsor Lancers.